Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the live show. It is Wednesday night. We know who the president is. It's amazing. It only took them one day to figure it out. Unlike the last election, it took them like 2 weeks. And if you didn't see, I posted that chart. That was pretty incredible because I saw someone talking about that. I didn't see that chart, so I just popped it into AI and made my own chart real quick and looked at it and said immediately, I was like, "Hey, if you handed me that, something was wrong in that last election." And there you go. So something was definitely up with that last election. You know how I look at these stupid charts, and it definitely said it. So there you go with that bad boy. And here we go with the market. Let's see what's going on because I mean it is bright green and things were popping today with Trump going into the White House. So here we are. All information presented here is for educational and informational purposes only. It's not intended as financial advice. So always do your due diligence. How is everybody tonight? Hope we had a great day. I bet people are a little bit tired. I know I am. I was up late and watching the polls and hanging out and doing all kinds of fun stuff. I went out and back and was golfing at 1 o'clock this morning. So that was fun too. So here we are. CDIO was popping today. Coin at CONL, QCOM. We were looking at ELWS. So many other ones setting up, getting ready, and the market's going to be booming. So let's take a look at this list, see what we have. Tons of earnings tomorrow, guys. 484 companies are reporting earnings tomorrow, so that's pretty wild. That's a whole lot of them, I'll say. So we'll see how the market wants to react to that. And don't forget, you have the Fed doing a rate. What are they? They're changing the rate 0.25% tomorrow. So just remember about that. And yeah, just looked at the news on here and it says something about it or about the focus on shifts to the Fed because they're supposed to have the rate cut of 0.25% there. So that should be tomorrow at some point. I don't know what time it is. We'll have to look it up and check that out. But here we go. Let's get rolling through these, see what's going on. And your Mag 7 was basically all green except for Apple was down a hair, but that is setting up and we will go through them. So let's look at GSUN, Golden Sun Health Technology Group. It was up 23 cents today. It's rolling off that MACD, going up. Your 20s coming down for it at 322, and this is at 275. So it has some room to move and it definitely should be rolling tomorrow because it looks like it wants to continue to roll up there and just look for it to get around that 320 area, and that's when it's going to hit that resistance. So I would say you're going to see a little momentum play right there on GSUN, and it is looking good to continue up. It bottomed out on the 5th, which was Tuesday and yesterday, and it was down at what, 226. And today it's at 275, 264 in the after hours. Mine says 275 and looking strong. So that is GSUN. And here's SCPX. Scorpius Holdings. I remember looking at this before. It did curl up right there. It's right off the 20 through to 50, looking good from 76 to 81. Let me take a better look at it. SCPX. And yeah, it just kind of ran up there 74 to 81, but it is running between that channel right there. And like I said, it got over that 78-cent area and it's sitting at 80 in the after hours. I would expect this to try to continue some momentum up tomorrow as well. So keep your eye on. Yeah, it's looking pretty good right there. SCPX, I would say that's going to keep that momentum. GFAI, I know we've looked at this recently. I don't remember when, but Guard Force AI company, and it was just down 6 cents up in the after hours. It was trying to set up there, pulling back a little bit, and this one will get running the next time it tries to get moving. Ran up 106 to 110, back to a dollar, closed at 106, so right where it opened and closed. And so we will look at it because it looks like it is curling up right there on mine. I'll take a better look on stock charts, GFAI, and just kind of like a little pullback there. But like I said, mine, it looks pretty good. I'll take a look at this one tomorrow and see what it's going to do. So I'll just keep an eye on that one. LGMK, let's look at that. Logic mark, LGMK. And that is logic, Mark. Their earnings are coming up on the 12th, which is next Tuesday. So less than a week away. It's over. The MACD pulling back, but this one's going to start to curl up and run between the channel of where it's at and about 13 cents. And where it's at is just under 10 cents at like 9 something. So it's right there, LGMK. And yeah, just watch for a little bit of pullback, but just also watch for it to roll off that MACD a little flat there, but it should get moving right there. It looks like it wants to, and that's what I would look for tomorrow. And I'll even keep an eye on that one just to make sure it does. But that's what it looks like it wants to do, and it probably should. So there you go at LGMK CDIO. This one was rolling this today. It did pop up there. It jumped up to like 51 cents, was at its high right there. 52 cents opened at 29. And it did run up. It's hard to get a good idea. It could pull back a little bit, but the 20 and 50 are meeting up. So I expect it to try to go up even higher. So keep an eye on CDIO. And again, it could just have a little bit of pullback right there, but I expect it to try to go back up. So as that 20 and 50 meet up and it's hitting that top, so again, it could pull back a hair. It actually did exactly that on the 28th and it ran up to that high of 33 and now it's spiked way up there. So let me just take a look at it in the morning. CDIO, we'll look at it and see exactly what it wants to do. But I kind of feel like it wants to pull back just a hair to set up and then really run up again. So we'll look at it and see if that's what it is looking to do. The yin and the yang, here we are. The yin was down $3 today. And like I said yesterday, it jumped up over that 20, but I was pretty confident it was coming back down. And it looks like it's going to drop past through that 50 right now and really come down. So that's what the yin looks like. I'm going to look at it on my charts. And yeah, it looks like it's just dipping down hard. So the yin looks like it's coming down. So obviously the yang must look like it's going up. So let's look at it. It is curling up right there. It ran up a little bit, obviously higher than yesterday because yesterday's close was $66 and today it opened at 73. So it ran from like 73.12 and it closed at about 72.39, but it did gap up, so it is up. And it's sitting on that 20 right in the right spot and it looks like it's about to blast off. So the 50's up here at 107 now, and it did split the other day. And you should see this bad boy start moving. So look for that yang to really start moving. It took a little longer, but there's the setup for you. And it probably, it was speculating what the election was going to do. And here's the reaction probably. But we saw the setup way before and probably always 3 weeks early or we are. So I try to time them out. It did run up a few times and now it's just right here, but it should be running the yang. So we'll watch it tomorrow and see that it's going to move. But I would expect the yang to start moving right there. It is set up and then we will keep an eye on it. Let's look at that GSAT, because that was moving today and they had earnings. What is it? Tomorrow. They have earnings tomorrow, the 7th. So it's running up in that top. I would be careful, to be honest. You know that I don't like them that much, if anything, in the morning. Look at it early, and it could be a momentum play, that GSAT. But you know how I'm very skeptical when they're up here. And you can see why you don't see them run 100% when they're up here. You see them run 100% when they're in the basement set up and getting ready to roll. You find a momentum play, they're really nice up here, and that's what I'm saying. Keep your eye out for that. But I would expect it to try to pull back at some point. It can run up in this top. It is crawled up. I would expect it to run up tomorrow morning. So the web bowlers at early in the morning, just keep an eye on GSAT. It looks like it wants to keep that momentum, but obviously it's way up there, so you have to be careful. And I mean, it's a huge run from Halloween at its open of 107. Today, its high was 190. I mean, that's pretty good run up right there. So expect it to get topped out sooner than later on GSAT. ENSC. We looked at it ran up not long ago. This November 1st. I knew it was just recently. I remember when the 20 and 50 were meeting And this one's just kind of flattened out right there, but it could be setting back up. Let me look. ENSC. Yeah, I mean it looks really good. Is that's today, November 6th, and 48 to 93. So it must have run up in that after hours. This only says 83, and what's it say it opened at? 55. I'm telling you, these things are still so goofy. They're all over the place. But mine says 48 to 93, and it's sitting at 82. They kind of agree on that, so that's nice. But they definitely don't see the same thing. But it looks pretty solid, ENSC. So I would keep an eye on it tomorrow. I'll keep an eye on it just because the charts are a little goofy right now. But I would say it's trying to move back up tomorrow. ELWS. Let's see what that's trying to do. I believe Jennifer Lee brought this to our attention. It was in the top, and we said, and here's your example. Momentum play, it's probably running up in the morning yesterday, and it did today, and 460 to 660. It might even went more than that. ELWS. 462 to 789. It was pretty solid. It closed up there at 789. So it does have some super momentum and running up in the after hours. So another one, if it's moving in the morning, obviously a quick momentum play. You want to play them fast because you just never know. And they're up here, but this one's going to be pulling back. You can see it. And especially with that run up to 789, I'm not saying again you're not going to catch that momentum in the morning. So just watch for the momentum play in the morning, but obviously be careful with it because it can pull back pretty quick there. And especially when they've run up like that. I mean, another one, and it is setting up to be really bullish, but you can see the 20's crawled up. It's about to hit that hard line. I expect it to pull back down pretty good and then set back up to run back up. So I don't know what they have going on. A software company, Early Works, and they received a notification from NASDAQ, and that was November 4th, and then it started popping. So I have no idea what they're up to. But again, it did run up there. So be cautious. We like them when they're down here on October 30th when it's opening at 201 down there on that line. That's where you want to see it. And honestly, today and yeah, after yesterday's look, I'd be cautious. And then today it popped up, obviously. So you definitely have to be very cautious. But again, momentum play in the morning, you run it up and get rid of it, and boom, there you go. LGO, that's Largo Inc. And this one was just in the top, pulled back and set up to curl up and run. And it is looking decent right there. And I would say this is going to continue to move. So watch for it to get back up to that 275. It's at 258, 263. And it wants to get back up to that area. And what's their earnings on? Hold on. Oh, it is November 12th, so it is next Tuesday. They have their earnings. So I'd expect it to run up, pull back a little bit, and then do react to the earnings. And the 20 is cruising up on it. So I'd expect it to keep staying bullish. And that's a Canadian industrial metals and mining company right here. And it is curling up. So you can look for this as a momentum play in the morning because like I said, it's catching momentum after it just ran up the last few days. So there you go. BNRG. Let's look at it. BNRG. Bren Miller. I knew that one was familiar. Let me see. It's just kind of pulling back, but it's sitting there on the 20, building a base. I would imagine the way it's looking right there that it's going to try to set up and run. And another one we were probably super early on, and we usually are. So let's see. And this is definitely not the one I was like, that's not what I'm looking at, is it? No, BNRG. There we go. That looks better. Okay, this chart looks much. I had something else different up there. I have no idea, but I looked at it and was like, that doesn't look like the right chart. And here we go with the right chart. So yeah, I feel like this one's gonna roll off the MACD right here, start rolling and get moving. So you know how we're always early. And I think that was another situation right here where you're about to see it set up and get moving for that BNRG. So keep our eye on that because it is going to get moving. CLDI, I know we looked at that not long ago. It was up 5 cents. This one's been running up there. I mean, the bottom was back on October 25th at 73 cents. It's up to $1.45. The 20 and 50 are just crossing each other, but this one, it can get into the top, but this one you just have to be very cautious with. I'd have to look at it. If it obviously gets into the top up here, it's gonna run some more, so you'll have a nice little momentum up there. But if it doesn't and it hits that top area like it looks like it might want to and pulls back, it could come back down to like the 115, 120 area and then get pushed up. So you don't want to be in the 140s and have it pull back to the 120s on you. You'd rather just get it at the 120s. So just look out at to see if it wants to pull back and dip right there, and you'll have a better opportunity on CLDI. But it is setting up right there to move BIVI, BioVi. I know we looked at this recently because it ran up on October 21st. And this one's another one that had run up, pulling back, just getting to that line again. And it almost looks like it's about to roll off. It is kind of crossing through there on mine, but it is in that spot where it could easily pull itself up or bounce. You have your 20 and 50 meeting perfectly. So I have to watch this one. Watch this one tomorrow. Actually, I'll put a little triangle here. BIVI. Just watch this one for a little bounce play because it could definitely try to bounce right there. So it is setting up. It has everything going for it, and just watch to see if it tries to pull itself up. Like I said, it just crossed through, but it has that look like it can easily pull itself up and easily bounce. So that's what you're looking for on BIVI. CAN. I remember this one from before. I don't know if we used to look at it or if I used to trade it, but I just know the company name and I remember the stock ticker somehow. Can. I mean, it's not too hard. But anyway, it's up today. It is up. It's a computer hardware company in Singapore. It opened at $1.46 up to $1.49. Let me see if it went a little higher than this. CAN. Let me see. $1.39, $1.49. And it does look pretty solid to continue up, but I would be careful with this. Watch for a little pullback down to the $1.20 area at some point soon. And then that one's going to get rock and rolling as your 20 and everything sets up. So this one I would just keep an eye on, and it's going to set up fairly soon. So just keep an eye on that for a little setup and a little pullback. EFSH, that's what that is. EFSH, that 1847 holdings, and this one did run in the top and then pulled way back, and it could be bottom and looking good again. Let me take a better look at it. It's still down there. It has that look like today could possibly be the bottom, and now it's going to start to make that like that slow curl up there. And we already know as they curl up, they run around a whole lot. And then when they get about a day out, 2 days out, they like to pop up there, and then they like to take their time crossing through and just be a little weird. I'm interested now on these ones, especially something like this, because I'm going to keep an eye on it and make a big line just for because I know what it means. I'm interested now if these guys, these big curl ups that are going to do it, start actually moving the right momentum, the right direction, and actually running the right way like charts are supposed to. And I've explained it many times before on here, and how these charts have just been obviously crazy weird the last few years. And I said it 2 years ago, no one was running the country. You can see certain things. Clearly, I can see certain things. I mean, I think all of you that listen to the show, between the Trump assassination call and the election, I must say, I mean, these charts are just dead on. I mean, it's just kind of crazy between it. And then you're talking like even betting charts, and obviously I was looking at other things in the market that could I could tell was going on, but then betting charts were just unbelievable. I was looking, they do have them for football charts, and I was actually looking at last week's, and they actually just run it, and right before the game they get a little bit crazy. So I have to watch them this week and see what's going on. And I tell you, I'm not even a gambler, but if them charts tell you who's going to win all the games, that'll be pretty wild. So I'm just interested, to be honest with you. So I'll definitely check that out this weekend. I was already looking at it. My buddy, I swear today felt like I had won an election. I told you I ran before. I obviously didn't run in this one. And I said, I think I had more phone calls today and people hitting me up than if I had run in one because everybody kind of knew where I stood on the election. And I was pretty, standing my ground about 3 months ago and never flipped about it and was very adamant about it being the biggest landslide. And it was up there. It was definitely one of the closest. One of the biggest landslides, I'd say. Basically, exactly how I said, and then to see how the popular vote call that chart out exactly before it even happened, and everything else. I mean, it's just pretty awesome. I loved it, and so yeah, I had a lot of people hitting me up like I had won something. I felt like I won an election, and all I did was just kind of call it. I guess a lot more perfectly than every other pollster, every expert, and every person in the media. So, there you go. I guess if you want an honest opinion and you want to know what's going on, just listen to the show and just ask a question because I'll answer it and give you an honest look. And like I told you before, and I said it yesterday and the other day, I just tell you what I see. I leave my emotions out of it. If I even, obviously, we all care about certain things like a presidency and an election, but I give you an honest look, and I even told you, if it looked like Harris was going to win, I would completely tell you that's the way it looked. I'm straight up with everybody. I don't care, and that's just the way it goes. I was telling you guys that popular vote, if you just handed me that chart, I would immediately be like, that's not right. Something's wrong. And again, I made that other chart tonight about the last four elections, and immediately 2020 jumps out like a red flag. I mean, I think everybody can see it. I circled it, and you just draw a straight line across. It's pretty basic charting right there. And you can see in 3 out of 4 elections, they basically had the exact same amount of votes. I mean, give or take a small amount. And then the last election in 2020, it was like astronomical where the blue side was, and even the red side was up a little bit, but that could have been a landslide, what it looks like. So you're looking at like, hey, there was a landslide that happened, and clearly something took place. So I mean, the chart just clearly tells you it's real basic, and so there you go. And laptop travel likes that, and I did. I posted it out, and I just texted it out to a few people, and they're like, "You love your charts," and I believe you. And I don't think anyone doubts it now. So, and I honestly, it impresses me not what I do, but just how these charts set up and tell you what they're going to do. It's just amazing that they do that. And it's been part of the fascination. I think that's made it my hobby for over 20 years is the fact that I've been able to see these type of things. And obviously, I think I've gotten much better. Clearly by doing the show, I don't know what the brain injury did to me, but I'm seeing them like I'm in the zone, and I love it. And like I told you guys, since the summertime, I remember sitting on vacation at a lake house saying, yo, wait until October, Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. It's going to get wild. And yeah, I mean, them charts were just telling me that while I was sitting on a lake. And that was months ago, what, in August? So you had the rest of August, you had all of September, October, and then a couple crazy wild days in the beginning of November. You're talking like a while out there, and it was that clear. And it had never looked different, to be honest. People would ask me, did I think anything was different? And and no, I honestly never thought for a day it ever looked different. And I kept coming on and saying that the media was a propaganda machine because I could see what was going on with these charts trying to get manipulated. And it was just kind of mind-boggling. And I don't think I mean, I think it was a big lesson learned. I think honestly, it was a big experiment. When you look at it, kind of like an experimental thing. I don't know if they meant to do it on purpose, but it just shows the fact that, human beings and people will stick together and they're not that dumb. And you can act like you're smarter than people or try to project things certain ways. But people have instincts and gut feelings and they go with it. And this was one of them cases here. And they just it was a landslide all across the board. I mean, you looked at almost every demographic. It was crazy. And places that he just never had really, surged before. And again, it was just one of them things you could just see it happening. And look at the economy. And I'll tell you what, I've said it before. I said it way before, right after the assassination attempt, and we called it out. I'm telling you, you survive a miracle like that, it changes your life completely. I survived one, I know. And so you see things in a different light. I'm going to tell you, he's going to make this the best. Our country's probably going to be the best run country it's ever been. And he has a different mindset. And he was in it before. He knew he made mistakes, and he's not going to make any of them mistakes. He's going to have a unity kind of thing. I have a feeling that Biden will have to drop all the court cases. They should be dropped. It should be the right thing. And like I said before, he was never going to go after Hunter or anybody. And hopefully it ends all that nonsense, because again, you can't have a country, and especially when you're trying to. We grow up and they point out China, Russia propaganda. They jowl their political opponents, they assassinate them, and then you just watch the entire thing unfold in front of our eyes in America. And I think, like I said, everybody saw it happening, and you can't hide it that easy. And again, with Twitter, Elon Musk, he just made the biggest difference in the world. Having Twitter, the one place where you can actually get factual, real-time information and not know any nonsense, and everybody knows it. Yeah, it kind of makes a huge, huge difference. So, like I posted yesterday, I think Elon Musk single-handedly is the biggest difference maker in it. You can probably count all the elections combined before, and they wouldn't equal what he just did in this election, to be honest with you. I mean, it was just buying Twitter and then backing Trump and saying, you know what, this is nonsense. And he even said it. He was a Democrat up until 3 years ago. I told you guys, I'm a registered Democrat. I live in the most Democratic area. I told you the story. I've worked for the counties and everything, so I know how it runs. And again, it's just, yeah, I see it in my area, like hardcore Democratic people that are just like, hey, we've had enough of this nonsense, and it's been nonsense, and they just think people are stupid, and clearly it backfired on them. I think the whole entire party has to implode, and they have to kind of redo it again. And honestly, I think it tarnishes the legacies of the Clintons, the Obamas, and all of them, because they were feeding you nonsense. And Trump basically, he had a knockout punch for two people. He knocked out all of them. I mean, he took Biden out of politics completely. He just ended Kamala's political career, and now I'm telling you, tarnished the Clintons and Obama's political careers, because everybody knows that everything was going on was a big lie, and it's been exposed. And so that's kind of a big deal, and I think it's going to have to change going forward. And I'm telling you, I mean, the guy, he has survived an assassination attempt and pulled this off. I mean, you're talking, it was in the cards for a reason. Things happen for a reason, and if he didn't win, our country wouldn't be. I told it before. You could see it on the charts. If it went the other way, it was done. I don't think the charts could have lasted 4 more years like that. So, and I just tell you what I see. I don't even care. Like I say, I'm not even a big fan of his. I never was. But you have to support a guy that has put it all out there, and you can tell he cares. So. That's that, and we'll fly through this. But yeah, it's just kind of amazing. If you look at it, it's kind of an amazing story. And like I was just saying, it looks like 2020 was clearly probably a landslide in his favor. And then if you look at it, what went down, they basically cheated, lied, or whatever. And then you had these 4 years happen and all this nonsense, and it all got exposed. And he walked back into the White House. I mean, he literally walked in, and yeah, and the people voted him right in. No one could argue it. And it had to be the biggest landslide. And look at Arizona. They're still out there. Is their name Carrie Lake? They're still messing with that lady. They messed with her last election, and they still can't figure out how to count all the votes in that one county. It's kind of crazy that you still see this go on. And I watched it with my own eyes. So back to this, enough with politics, and we'll get back to all the poppers. All the politics is over now. But it was definitely interesting. I'm not gonna lie, with the charts and all. fun times, and again, we'll have to continue looking at Poly Market. I was looking at all the different stuff already, and so we'll have to make that a show in itself and just see different things. But there you go. And like I said, that's how I call it, see it. And again, you're just going to get a very honest opinion and what I see. And again, if it changes, I'll tell you. And if I'm wrong, I'll tell you where it went wrong. I'll be like, hey, that is where I thought it was going to go up, and that's where it went down. And obviously, I didn't see it right. I take accountability for everything, trust me. So there you go, EFSH. Let's look at it now. All the way at the bottom. And yeah, I would look for it to we already said it's going to start curling up there and it'll take its time. So there you are, VKTX. Laptop Travel likes this bad boy, VKTX. Up at $1.24, and I see why. It's definitely setting up right there. I can tell you that. It's going to bounce, and it opened and closed. I'm telling you, they just keep opening and closing around the same price, just messing with me. But this thing is super bullish. Its low is 62.80, and its high was 66.38, which is a nice little jump right there. But it's setting up to get super bullish pretty much real soon, I'll say. It was pulling back there on the MACD. I'm gonna look at this thing, and is this the one? Yeah, Vikings Therapeutics. You were saying the other day they have like a buyout or something going on. Let me type it in right. VKTX. But yeah, it ran up. I remember it ran up the other day to like 91 something. It's back to 65. And I honestly think you are going to see this thing start bouncing. So watch this bad boy start set up. VKTX. And like I said, it is bullish. I know Laptop Travel posted a bunch of information about it the other day. And I can definitely go back and look, but yeah, they have so they a obesity drug for healthy adults. What the heck? There you go. Well, you know that's gonna go flying. So an obesity pill, you know, will go pretty nutty. So we will keep our eye on VKTX for sure. It is looking good. And it is setting up there, and I'll look at it in the morning. As a matter of fact, it is setting up to go up there. CETX, I think we kind of have to wait for that 20. It just keeps pulling back away from it. It's now at 19 cents in the 20s at like 31. So it just keeps pulling back. It looked like it was trying to stop there on the day before Halloween, and it's just taking massive dips. And we kind of know that look now when that 20's over it and it's not close enough where it can bounce or it's not on a line or something, it just they just keep dipping down. Hopefully that changes, or honestly, I don't even care if it doesn't change because we know to look on it. And again, it crosses through the MACD. It runs like it wants to go up. It stays in the basement. It tries to curl up multiple times and just doesn't do it until that 20 grabs it and actually pulls it up right now. So that's that look on CETX that we're seeing. And yeah, it's just taking a beating because it just keeps dipping down as it's running up on the MACD, but it's just not ready because that 20's over it. ASM, this one looks good right here. It is all the way pulled back too, but curling right there. It's at the 50 right there at 122. Let me look at ASM. Because this one can be getting curled up as well. I'll have to look at it in the morning. Today looks like it was its bottom right there at 109. So we'll look at it and make sure it's its bottom. And I'm just going to put 109 there just so I know. 109, I think, is going to be right around there. Well, today it was its low, and I think it's going to be the bottom. I'll look for it if it comes back to 104, but I don't think it's going to. But that's what I'm going to look for tomorrow, see if it's trying to pull back at all. And if it is, it's coming back down to the 104 and it'll get set up off of that line. So we'll look at ASA or ASM and check it out. MRSN. Let's see that one. That one looks good for a nice momentum play. Curled through, running up, bouncing 20 off that, and don't really have anything up in its way until like 275 there. I would say MRSN is looking solid for a momentum play for tomorrow, and it has run up the last 2 days. Yeah, the fifth it ran from 181 to 204, and today it's 201 to 240, and it's sitting at 234. Like I said, it looks like it wants to run up some more. So I would keep an eye on that MRSN. and it should have a little momentum on it. IONQ. I know we looked at this before because it had run up for like a while. It got in the top, pulled back, and honestly, it does look like it was trying to run back up. It bounced up today, 1673 to 1683, and then pulled back down 1590, and it has earnings. Let's see. Oh, it had earnings today, huh? So let me just take a look at it and see what it did in the after hours. Maybe pulling back there, and it did run up pretty crazy. Just see if it runs back into like it's at 1590 in the after hours. 1590, and just see if it can pull back down here to like, anywhere in the lower 15s or even the 14s, the higher 14s. It could pull back in there, even maybe the lower 14s. But it does look like it wants to bounce up. I mean, it has that look where it could make that hard bounce. On mine, I mean, it's kind of flat. I'd have to look at this in the morning after them earnings, and it just has a kind of weird look, but it does look like it wants to try to go back up. It was trying to. I'm just not sure what it. The earnings ones are tough. I'm telling you. I don't. Was saying this to people before, and I think I said it on here. I like to get them right before earnings, like a couple days before. You can see what their setup is and kind of play them easily like that. Get out of them for the earnings, and then after the earnings, then you can see them again pretty clear. But when they're going through their earnings, like for example today, and this was today's earnings, it's so hard to get a look on it which way it wants to go because sometimes the earnings are good. The chart's set up that it wants to come down. I'll give you two great examples real quick. Um, the PLTNR or PLTR, whatever the hell, yeah, PLTR. Again, we had looked at so many of them big caps that were set up beautifully on earnings that one week when they had all the earnings were going to Mag Sevens and they were just crushing earnings and they were pulling back. So then you go like a week or two later, and then you have PLTR that's been crushing her. I mean, the literally CEO is like, I don't really need to say much except our earnings and our sales are out of this world right now, and then it just went kind of crazy again. And again, that chart looked like it wanted to come back, and their earnings crushed it, but it popped up big time. So it's a hard look on them earnings on them days, like the exact day, and maybe even the day before, but like a couple days prior, it's pretty easy to trade. And then a couple days after, I was nailing them Mag Sevens right up until the earnings, and then it got all weird. And and then same thing you can see here. It's like this one could go either way. And then after tomorrow, you could probably tell like, oh yeah, it wants to definitely roll up, or yeah, it's definitely going down. I'm more into it now where I can say it definitely wants to do that. Let's rock and roll this one today. And instead of let's try to pick five of them because they're setting up and trying to run, and then we'll try to balance them and try to juggle five, and then three more get set up the next day, and the next thing you know, you're trying to look at like 12 of them. You're like, this is ridiculous. Just pick the one that's really good and just go with it. Or maybe two or three, and then you just have that rotation. So I'm more into the one that looks the best that day, unless it's all our indicators are looking perfect. And you guys know, I'll tell you is when, hey, this one's gonna run tomorrow. It generally runs. And I'm not going to say I'm 100%, nobody is, but it gives you that look where it's pretty accurate. And they're the ones that I think we're going to definitely zero in on more or less. But of course, these set up and they get crazy. So we have to keep our eye on them. But like I said, we're going to definitely zero in on these exact poppers when they're moving and the best opportunities. And I've been kind of basically playing around with the options, and I think I have it pretty figured out. Probably why I didn't make the video at because I'm just kind of experimenting with what works best and what doesn't. And like I said, it's been a couple weeks, almost a month, where I've really been messing with these things, and I think I kind of have it figured out. One of the main things I figured out was don't mess with them during the earnings, and do it right before and after because it's way easier. And so that's why I'm kind of laptop travel's cracking up. I'm not gonna lie, it was just I learned it from the Mag 7 and I started going going back and looking at charts. I'm not gonna lie. You know how I like to look at things, and then I started paying attention. Even on this one, IONQ, you look back at the other earnings back in August 7th, and yeah, the day before is at August 5th. So 2 days before it pulls back down. Its high was 693 and then 622. It bounces up the next day. Kind of just stayed red. At that point, you kind of knew what it was going to do. So I just think that that's the our approach that we're going to do. So oh, there we go. VKTX too. So we'll move on from that. But again, we're going to pick them right at the right time. And again, I think just picking them on the earnings days isn't just the best idea in options or even trading them in stocks because you get a much better, more confident look right after it happens and a few days before and then they get a little weary and give you that weird look. They all do it. I was going back and hey, I never really played the earnings calls or anything like that. The earnings, it was always just setting up poppers, but now we're looking at different things. And I was saying to a couple guys, I was saying, yeah, earnings aren't the things to play off of. We can see way better setups and nail them and kind of stay clear of the actual earning dates and not worry about that as much. I know people do play the earning dates, but I just feel like I have a better idea when it's not on earnings day. So there you go with that. VKTX is the leading weight loss drug coming, plus another drug, major buyout target from the, that's right, Lilly, LLY. And that'll be a huge one. That'll be like billions and billions of dollars. And them Intel call options today. Look at these things. They were wild. I'm telling you, crazy percentages. You're talking like anywhere from 45% to like 175, 200%. I mean, just crazy, crazy stuff. You saw the what was it, the CONL I had? That ran up. I mean, that was insane. I forget what the percentage was, but that was a wild one. And yeah, I mean, the options you could call 100% pluses every minute. I mean, it's pretty easy on an option because again, you have that leverage, and that's why I've been doing it. Calling 100% stocks like I've done for the last few years and the amount I've done is kind of unheard of. Honestly, it's like bizarre, but again, we can do it with these option calls. And if you're calling 100%ers with options, you're talking, I mean, sometimes if you're hitting the exact strike dates and stuff like that, or the expiration date and the strike prices and they're flying through it, I mean, you're talking like crazy percentages. And so yeah, that's what I've been really nailing down right now. So obviously I'll make the video for the option so I can really show you guys. But I just been really experimenting, doing it very small scale, and the ones I'm confident with, I roll with. And again, that CONL, I think it was up like $800 today per option. It was wild. Here you go. I'll tell you exactly what it was because Laptop Travel brought it up. You're talking over 500%, 600%, 1100%, 2300% on some of them. And again, they're all different because of the expiration dates and the strike prices. And I'll go through all that stuff, but I'm telling you, you're not hitting stock calls like that. That's for sure. So here I'll post it out for you guys and you guys can look at it. But yeah, I mean, it was crazy. So yeah, one of them, I'm not sure if it even says it here, but yeah, I mean, and again, they're all different. Mine, mine were paying like over $800 today per option, and yeah, it was a piece of cake. I mean, we knew it was going to go up, and you just hit them at the right time. So just to give you a quick idea, that's, what it was doing and it was way up and yeah, it just seems way more I understand why these hedge funds and big guys do these options. So yeah, we'll get everybody involved and like I've said, by Thanksgiving we're going to be crushing things and Christmas we'll have some great holidays, I promise. And obviously that market's going to run, and this is another thing, real quick, and we'll knock out this list. The market's obviously going to run with the Trump. He's going to get in office. But let me tell you one thing. They're going to come in and clean all this nonsense up. You're going to see some pullback. You have to, because there's been so much crazy excess spending and just ridiculous stuff. I think Elon already said it. Like a lot of people, yes, he's going to need a huge security because people are going to hate him because he's just going to start cutting government stuff and all that spending is going to be gone. And and you know what it's going to do? It's going to allow the American people to save money. Our prices are going to come down and we're going to have a better life. And that's what it's supposed to be about. I don't know what the hell they're giving out everything for, and then we're all struggling like maniacs. It's crazy. So, like I said, you're going to see a country run the way it's supposed to be. And I'm excited for it, to be honest. And you're going to see a market just get crazy. And crypto, guys, I'm telling you, crypto is going to get wild. So you already seen it today. Bitcoin already hit the all-time highs and stuff. So here we go. We'll roll through these lists and then I'll answer everybody's things. Anybody wants to see anything, let me know and we'll get cruising. But just wanted to tell you is what I saw today and what I see moving forward because obviously I try to give you a little look and couple months out and that's what I'm seeing right there. And if anything changes, I'll obviously let you know. You know that, but that's what it looks like. Things setting up, looking good, and yeah, we'll cruise into this new, uh, you know, a Trump era, and honestly, they may keep it red in that office for a long time because I think the other party's going to implode, but. We'll move on from all that and roll through KTOS, which is Kratos Defense and Security. And we'll have to look at the aerospace and defense too. But this one did pop up. And I know that defense was looking good. This one had earnings on. It does have earnings tomorrow. And it jumped up today, but another one, like I can't tell if it wants to hit that line tomorrow and pull back or bust through it. My best guess is it's not crossing through. Everyone that I guess on the earnings, I seem to get them wrong. So I have no idea. And that's why another reason why I don't even want to mess with these earning ones. They are nice to look at, and I have a huge list because there's like 484 earnings things tomorrow, and they give you a good idea. But again, I like to look at them and get ideas and see what's going on. And I'm also looking to see what's setting up for right the next day. So it's fun to look at them because, like, for example, KTOS, now we know, like, hey, it may pop through and run, no big deal. We're not worrying about missing anything. But if it hits that line and bounces back, now we got a beautiful setup. And that's kind of and then I make a little mark and I know, and then we catch the next time. And that's how you catch these 100%ers like crazy. And it's just scanning the market, finding the right setups, the right timing, and nailing them down. And we do it pretty well on the show. And like I say, you guys contribute a heck of a lot. I mean, send over all kinds of beautiful setups, and I just look at them and go, yeah, that one's going to run. This one looks good. And I'm not 100%, but we're pretty accurate. And that's what we do on the show. So anyone new listening or just tuning in, I appreciate it. And we have an amazing community. I'm telling you, people are very knowledgeable that listen to the show and post things. And everybody's very cool. I talk to all of you. I have to say, my inbox is always like if I scroll down there's a ton of people and I love it. I always answer back and everybody's super cool, so I enjoy it all. And we're gonna crush this market like you've never seen before. I'm telling you. I like how I said, like, Trump had a purpose. Tell me, I got hit with a 10-ton jack with the pressure of a two-story house. Somehow I was in the hospital that night looking at stock charts, kind of giggling about it. I was out of my mind, but somehow I could still see them. It's probably the only like thing that I can really do well anymore. Like I said, everything else is a little strange in my life. It's a lot of adapting, but for some reason these things have gotten better and things happen for a reason. And like I said, there's no reason to be wasting this. I honestly, I say I'm blessed with a skill and there's no reason to waste it. So let's go ahead and use it and everybody use it to your advantages. Like I say, I'm not the financial guy, so I'm not going to say, hey, this one, but I make it clear which ones are about to run. I'm going to really make it clear. The list is going to make it clear because we have the legend and yeah, we're just gonna, like I said, I really feel like the option calls and just nailing them down. You can hit the long one so you can get them way out and know Like in Nvidia, for example, when I had it at $180 and it ran to like 1300 or whatever, that thing was worth so much money. You have no idea what them things were worth. And they were insane. So you can buy them like that, but you can also hit them real quick because we can tell when they're going up and down. And them ones pay out a lot too. So you're hitting them super long and buying them way cheap when you're doing that. And you're also buying them a little bit more, but they pay out like crazy. So we just do it both ways. And when you're super confident, like we've been, and we know that the chart's going to do, except on earnings when we don't know. And like I was saying to these people, a couple people, and like and you guys, we're gonna take the ones that I'm really confident with, and I'm like, yeah, that one's going up because we've been pretty dead on, and it's only gonna get easier, like I said, with the charts setting up. So, all right, let's roll through these bad boys and enough talk. And there's just been so much going on with the election and everything, and how the market reacted, and so much happening. So. And I'm just kind of looking into the next 3 months because we just hit that area where, I was telling you what was going to happen. It happened, and now, we're planning for the next 3 months, and and it's going to happen. So here we go. I just told you what's going to happen the next 3 months, and we're going to crush this thing. So let's get rolling. New car just pulling back here. Still doesn't look bad, honestly. It had mad momentum yesterday. I'm not sure why it stopped today, but it doesn't look terrible. So I could see UCAR continuing its way up. It's even setting up more bullish. It probably wanted to just kind of pull back a little bit. Maybe it will tomorrow, a hair, but I almost don't think it will. So UCAR, keep your eye on that because that's going to continue that momentum going up and win. This one's been strange. It was trying to set up that 20's right there, coming down for it. It's at 78 cents. This is at 61. Excuse me. It it looked like it wanted the base at that 71 cents. And then yesterday it has that weird look, and today has, so I almost think today is going to be that dip and rip. And I think you're going to, because it started to try to curl now. I think you're going to see it try to pop up there. It could gap up that 10 cents with no problem. So even more like 70 something, but you could see this thing WINT try to gap up. I'm not saying it definitely will, but it does kind of look like that little dip and rip situation. So I would definitely keep an eye on that in the morning, and I certainly will. WINT, and it's been trying to set up for way too long, and it didn't really run that one day on the 21st. It got up to like $1.20, but I guess it did, but it should have started moving again and pull back more, and it should move. So we will look at WINT. I think it'll be good. IOVA, this one's looking good. This one's another earnings for tomorrow, right? Thursday, yeah, tomorrow. And this one looks like it actually wants to get, and again, they just get, so it opened at 1209, it closed at 1214, right around the same price, hitting that hard resistance, and kind of looks like it would want to go through into the top, but I just can't tell. Let me look at it on mine, but sorry, excuse me. Um, yeah, I would have to assume that it's like trying to top out up here, and it's going to pull back hitting that line, and it has earnings tomorrow. So the earnings, they just give me the weirdest look, and they're just hard to tell. I really can't tell. It's kind of bizarre. You would think it would be way easier to be able to tell what the earnings are going to do, and for whatever reason it is, they're just like they have this certain look, and then they can either go either way. So I guess it's built in for earnings, I guess. So yeah, I'm not sure why people love the earnings plays, but like I said, I'll take the ones when I'm really confident we know they're going to be rolling. SVRE, that Saber one, it did split and run, and this one's just kind of setting up too. It's hitting that line, pulling back. That 20's up there at 192. Let me take a look. SVRE. Yeah, it's crossing through a little. I mean, this one almost looks like it wants to try to get moving and almost gap up there. I have to see this tomorrow. I'll look at this in the morning. Let me check that out tomorrow for sure. And SCLX. Let's look at that. SCLX. SCLX. And that one was running up today. 111 to 114, and it is curling up there. So that one is looking pretty good. SCLX, actually. You'll probably have more of a momentum play on that tomorrow as well. It looks like it should be good. That 20 and 50 are meeting up, and that's been a great look lately. So keep an eye on that for a little momentum in the morning. And there you go with them. Here, we'll roll through all these earnings real quick, and then we have a great laptop travel list over here. We'll obviously hit all of our big caps. Our crypto, we're definitely going to go through because that's like hitting. I mean, Bitcoin's all time highs. Solana's about to get to 200 again, and it's just getting crazy. So let me roll through these earnings ones real quick. We don't even have to do them all. I'll just roll through some of them. I was scrolling through and I was like, holy cow, there's just so many of them. There's 484. So clearly we're not doing them all, but let me just cruise through some and see if we can get a decent look. Like GEVO. Obviously, all their earnings are tomorrow on the 7th. And this one, big dip down. Yeah, we'll just go through some of these. And if you guys want to see any particular ones on that list, let me know. But I'll just kind of scroll through and hit some. We don't really need to look at every single earnings. Like I said, I was just impressed that there were so many of them. So I just started jotting them down. But yeah, like GEVO, big dip today. It opened at 195, got up to 205 and then came down to 167 and it's at 168 and it's sitting on the 50. It looks like it wants to pull back tomorrow even more, but it's like, does it really want to? I'm not sure. Earnings are tomorrow, could bounce. I'll look at it on my end. But yeah, it's just the most bizarre thing. It looks like it's pulling back to me. So I would say that one here, I'll mark a couple of these. I would say it's going down. MPW, we were looking at this. We actually traded this. I know I did. I had an option on it. Their earnings are tomorrow, and it's right at that line. Now, this one actually looks really good to run tomorrow. So I would keep an eye on MPW. Let me see. And then I look at my chart and it's like hitting that line has that look like it could do anything. So I think this one wants to run up though. So I'm gonna say MPW wants to go up on its earnings right there. And again, I think I was like wrong on almost most of them the other day when I did this, and they did like the complete opposite of exactly what they wanted to look like they did wanted to do. They all did the opposite. So I was like, I give up on the earnings, but whatever. We'll take a look and have fun with them. And if anyone wants me to ever look at them, obviously we will. But I've made the decision. I said, you know what? After going through all these charts, seeing the Mag Sevens last week, and then going back, doing a little research, and then looking at these, I'm like, I've made the decision that I'm just not the guy that's doing earnings. I'm better off doing them before and after and picking whatever's on the scanners and everything else. I was never into the earnings, so why change my system now? But they are interesting to look at because again, um, they're great setups for when they pull back on earnings, like QNRX, for example. Looks like that wants to dip pretty hard tomorrow. And again, it could pop off to 20. I can't even tell. But whatever it wants to do, QNRX, it's you don't have to be in it for the earnings. You just play it right after. It'll be so much smoother and easier to see. On mine, it looks like it wants to go up. On FinViz, it looks like it wants to go down. It's like a coin flip for me. It's bizarre. But but yeah, that's why I've decided we're not going to really mess with the earnings, but we'll look at them for good setups like this, and then I'll go through them later, and we'll look at some of the bigger ones like DraftKings right now, DKNG. That's up $1.08. And then the other thing is, I've noticed a lot of them like to close and open and close around the same price right before the earnings. 38.13, 38.25. That was its open and close prices today and it went up to 38.72 and it came down to 37.37. So I mean it's just like they get these really weird looks and but DraftKings definitely setting up to be bullish. Is it going to run tomorrow? It looks like it is. It looks like it'll cross through, but I have no idea. It's definitely, I would rather wait to see it pop up. And if it did, it'll pull back and then you hit it on that setup. And we could have hit it on the setup before this. But again, we weren't even looking at it, but that's how we're going to play all the earnings. But they are fun to look at. And DraftKings Pen, we were looking at this, and it did run up finally. It got up to what? 21.32, and now we're back to 19.23. Yesterday I had a nice dip, and Penn looks like it wants to fly. So honestly, Penn looks great for its earnings tomorrow, but I've said that before and watched them pull back. So I'm not going to promise you anything, but let's watch it because again, this thing's setting up super bullish, and we already ran it from down here. I remember it was in the 18s, and then it ran up to that $21 area. So that's an easy hit, and it did it in a few days. It went one, two, three, four, like 5 or 6 trading days. It easily went up a couple dollars, and that's a nice little option play. So that's how you nail them, and then you get out of it because it has an expiration. And then when this thing's really setting up, and you buy it down the road and you play it real quick too. You play them both, so you have them for both ways, and it's going to do it. So Penn, PENN, that's what you're looking at for that, and it is going to do that. What is Under Armour? UA? I guess they have two. I was kind of confused, but they have two of them, UA and UAA. I didn't realize they had two of them, but let's see what it's doing. Another one looks like it's going to pull back on earnings. It ran up today, and that one looks like it's going to pull back. So UA, I would say, is going to pull back on us. And Penn looked like it was going up. Here, we'll just skip a few. We'll look at mRNA. That's at Moderna. They had the COVID vaccine or whatever. And that's in the basement down at 51.80. This thing was like in the $170. I remember. This thing was like 100. What was it during COVID? I don't even remember. It was crazy though. So this thing was way up. Now it's way down, and they have earnings. And another one, it looks like a dip and rip situation. It got down to 49.60 today. It's back at 51, but it still looks like it wants to pull in the basement and go down more. So I'm just not sure. I would say it's dipping down. And here, if anyone wants to see anyone particular, I'll just jump around real quick down the Yelp. YELP. That one ran up today. It's setting up bullish, but it's hitting that top area. Just kind of weird right there. I can't tell if it's going to get in the top like that. And they only set up real weird when it is the earnings, is what I've realized too. So on a normal day, if it wasn't earnings tomorrow, I'd probably know exactly what it was going to do. Some days I tell you, I need to look at it, but you won't get a list of 484 of them that you're like, huh, that could go either way. And they all have their earnings tomorrow. Like Yelp looks super strong, bullish for tomorrow. But again, I'm just not sure if it wants to run up into that top yet. So just another one I would have to guess. I don't want to guess. We want to just know. And it's way easier to know and just kind of attack the ones that we're confident in. SQ, Block Inc. This is a good company too. This one's just going to continue to run up. It's super bullish. It looks like it wants to get into the top and blast off tomorrow, but it could hit that line and come down right there as well. And it could hit this and pull down. I just can't tell. Let me see what it did in the after hours. Yeah, I mean, it's hitting the line. Looks like it's going to cross through. I would watch for SQ. That might be a little momentum play. It looks like it wants to go up to me, but again, just can't really tell. We'll look at PZZ. I think it's Papa John's. Couldn't think of their name. I just knew, and I looked when I was writing them down. Another one. So hitting that top, it looks like they wants to pull back tomorrow, but setting up super bullish right here. So I'd rather not mess with it right here. And again, you could kind of tell a couple days ago, right here on the 31st on Halloween, you're like, oh yeah, this thing's about to pop up. And it did. It popped up to today to like the 60, 75 area. And on Halloween or right before it, it was down at like 52 and 51. So you could have got it right there knowing it was about to pop up. And then today you're out of it. And then the earnings are happening tomorrow because I don't know what the hell it's going to do. It looks like it's going to come down to set up to go higher, but it's hard to tell. So I'm not even sure. And again, I would just say that I honestly think it's gonna pull back. So I'll just do that. I'll look at like one more and it will fly through some more DNUT. But yeah, just interesting. There was 484 of them, and they'll probably have all the earnings calls tomorrow on Stock Twits. That'll be crazy. Wonder who's setting all that up. That'll be nutty. But So if there's any company that you want to listen to, hop on Stock Twits because they have a section and you can listen to all the earnings calls, which is pretty cool. DNUT is Krispy Kreme, good donuts, but hitting the top two looks like it wants to pull back, and everything kind of ran up today. And you kind of knew right here, I would have on Halloween, you knew this thing was at its low and it was about to pop up. It was at 11:02, and now it's at 12:42, and it got up to 12:50 today. Perfect piece of cake in a couple days, and then you get out of it for earnings, watch it pull back, and then it sets up even more bullish, and you get back in for the easy ride up because you can easily see it. So just wanted to give you a few examples of what I've been kind of researching that for like the last week or so. I guess since the other day, since that Mag 7 did all them, and I kind of just picked up on it right there. I was like, huh, this is weird. So I was going back and looking at charts, and again, that's why I put a bunch of them on here because I wanted to just see if I kind of made that decision. I think I was like, I think I'm not going to mess with these, but let's see what they look like tonight. And again, I just can't tell. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I just can't get a good look on them. So I'll look at one last one because it looked really good last night to set up. LCID was at Lucid Group, and it's way down there. Another one, it looked like it was trying to set up today. It almost has a dip and rip. It got down to 202. It's at 213, and it looks like it wants to try to pop up tomorrow. Keep your eye on that one, actually. LCID, that one could move up there, but again, I can't guarantee you. So there you go with the earnings. Let's look at crypto because that's wild. Actually, let me look at what you guys want to see real quick. Let me see if I missed anything. Intel CEO reports open market purchases of 11,150 of company shares at an average price of 22.53. I'd say he's pretty committed right there. And how about a few from Jennifer Lee? You know these are going to be running up and continue to run. So REBN Reborn Coffee. I trade this one a bunch of times before. Haven't heard this name in a while, but you're right. This one bottomed out and ready to roll. And again, no earnings. I'm like, yeah, this thing looks pretty decent. 20's right here up to 217, and this got up to like 210 in the after hours. REBN. I would definitely be looking at this in the morning for a momentum play. Absolutely 100% right there. REBN looks really good. I'll even repost them. ISPC. I didn't even look at this one yet, but I'm probably guessing it's going to be decent. ISPC in the after hour. That one looked interesting. A little pullback today to give that nice little bounce look. And let's see what it did. It says it went up. ISPC 486, 440, what was it? 444 to 513, sitting at 486. And you're right, that one looks great on my chart. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Um, Here I am, because I'll load this up. I'm telling you, on my chart, I can just tell when these things are ready to roll. I can just look at it really quick and be like, yeah, that one's going to run up. So keep your eye on ISPC, Jennifer Lee, and let me know tomorrow what it does because I might forget. I'll write it down here. I still might forget to look at it, but I'll look at it. I'll look at it in the morning. That one looks great to run up some more. And USAU, US Gold Corp, there you go. Down 16 cents. I think I had gold actually on here. I skipped it. I'll do it next because they had their earnings. But this one was just pulling back there, hitting that line. I would say watch for a little more pullback, but it's setting up to be super bullish right there. G or USAU, and I'll look at gold, GOLD, because they do have earnings tomorrow, and this looks like it's hitting that bottom. Again, it can hit that bottom and bounce up, or it can pull back a little bit more. And it's Barrick Gold, but we'll be able to tell after tomorrow after their earnings. So that is GOLD Gold. So there you are with that one. And like I said, Jennifer Lee always sending over some great ones, I have to say. So I always appreciate it. You know it's running up right and continuing to run up. So good looks on them. And like I said, that ISPC was looking really nice right there. Let me make sure I got everybody. ELWS. We might have looked at it, but I'll tell you again, it's way up there. I said just look at it in the morning. East Coast Beach Girl. It could be a momentum play if it wants to run up some more, but like I was saying earlier, have to be careful because of the way it's up there. But it is gonna set. It's gonna pull back and set up again. You can see these hard lines are gonna meet each other, and it's gonna pop up. So I was saying they must have something crazy going on, and I scrolled down and it just said notification from NASDAQ on November 4th, and the thing's popping. So just make sure it's running up in the morning, and that one's going to be a really quick one for you tomorrow because I have a feeling it's going to start wanting to pull back soon. And EBS, this one's looking good though. That has an earnings. When was their earnings? Today, right? The 6th, yeah. And it didn't. I don't know what they did, but it looks pretty green to me. Um, Curling up, trying to curl up down there. And again, another great example. I appreciate you pulling this one up for me because earnings today, and it's so hard to get that look. It looks like it wants to come up. I bet tomorrow we'll be able to tell exactly what it wants to do. And I'm gonna write it down. EBS, right? Yeah, EBS. So I have ISPC, EBS, and I'll definitely look at this tomorrow because now I'm curious, and I've obviously been looking at a lot of the earnings. That's why I put a bunch of them on. But like I said, we don't need to really run through them unless you guys want to see any in particular. And I'd rather look at the laptop travel list because it's way better. Way great setups and ready to move. But and like I said, the EBS one, it's what was I gonna say? It's curling up right there, but yeah, it just gives me that weird look at, oh yeah, I know what I was gonna say. It gives me that weird look on that earnings, and just give me a day or so and then we'll know exactly what it wants to do. So I'm glad you brought it up because earnings today, such a weird look and you have no idea, but you give it one day and then it's like, oh yeah, you know what it's gonna do. And like I said, play them a couple days before and they're almost really easy to see when they're going to be set up at the bottoms to run up into the earnings. And then that day, it's like you got to get out. So I just been kind of looking at a lot of charts about that, and again, nothing I used to really look at before. It was all setups, and I kind of made the decision that we'll play them before, so I will be looking at them, but it's going to be before and after, and I'll look at them obviously to see which way they want to go, but I won't buy options on them for the earnings calls because I'm telling you, they're just a little goofy. But EBS, Emergent Bio Solutions came out with quarterly earnings of $1.37 per share, beating the Zacks consensus estimate of 49 cents per share. This compares to a loss of $1.44 per share a year ago. So yeah, I'd say that's going to be a pretty good. Like I said, it looked like their earnings are green. It just can't tell what it wants to do tomorrow. So just another great example right there. Like I said, I'm glad you pulled that one up because they are. They're just really hard to look at when they have the earnings for whatever reason. And I'd rather do it before or after, like I said. So let's go ahead and look at crypto because that's on fire right now. I mean, it's just going ballistic. So let me hop into my app real quick. And it's as green. Bitcoin's at 75,250 something. And it is just cruising right there along and it just wants to keep going, guys. It crossed through hard. It's getting up into the 70. We just have to be a little more careful now because when they're getting up into the 70, they do like to kind of pull back, but again, they are reacting totally different right now. So I am not sure 100% how high. I'll know more tomorrow morning when we go through the crypto of how high they want to kind of run because they're super hot and they could get really, really blasting off. For example, Ethereum right now is at 2,858. And I mean, it just flew right through the 50. It's coming up to the 100. And it almost went from like under the 50 RSI to the 70 practically. And it's not even, it just crawl like a hard crawl through. And they just, like I said, they could just go crazy. Ripple, 56 cents and just ripped right through the 50 and 100. And looks like it just doesn't want to stop. So Ripple, XRP, that is. Solana's back at 190. It was there earlier. and that one wants to get back to 200. I was just telling my buddy, I was talking to him, and I traded the crypto with, and he was like, "What's sold?" I said, "Dude, it's gonna be at like 200 in the morning probably," and it's back at 190 right now, and I think it was at like 186 or 187 when I was talking to him. Cardano is about to get rolling. It's going through the 50 and coming up to that 100 at 40 cents. Once it gets through that, it's going to finally run. Doge just took a huge run, so it's at 19, right under 20. And I think it just had to cool off a little bit because, I mean, the volume was over 40 billion and it wants to roll off and go higher. So you're talking like volume is just so astronomical on Doge, it's ridiculous. It's like shooting off this charts. And when you have a volume like that, it gets wild. Sheeb right here. Let's look at Sheeb because that went through the 50 and 100 and is looking pretty good to curl up there and get rolling. So Sheeb hasn't exactly curled through it and it says it's a little bit down, but nothing crazy. And it looks pretty good right there. And let's look at our buddy Bonk real quick, Bonk. And then I'll look at one more different one that we haven't looked at. But Bonk is about to go bonkers, guys. I was saying it the other day. I was setting up and look at WIF. That is with WIF. And I'll tell you what, this thing is setting up beautifully. Laptop Travel sent this over to me and said his wife likes this one. And I can see why. It's curling up perfectly right now. It was stair stepping down. And I think this thing's about to get blasted off. And it just crawl. I mean, if we had looked at it yesterday, I'd have been like, whoa, that one's looking badass. And it still does. It just crossed through to 50 and 100. And where is it at? 242. And it wants to get cruising up to like three or so. So take a look at that one, WIF, because that one's looking good. And I'll definitely also I was messing around today. I'm gonna bring my scanners back in to the show some more so that we can do that because again the crypto part of it's just insane. I can do it with the stocks too, and we'll start using it for options. I've been looking at them. So I just been kind of doing some research and seeing what's working best and what doesn't. Because I'm telling you, the market's just going to be insane. We're going to crush this thing in every which direction. So we're going to hit crypto. We're going to hit the big caps. We're going to hit options. You want to hit the penny stocks? We'll hit them too. 100%ers. You see, they go out every single day. And yeah, you're gonna see option calls that are like gonna be like 1,000%ers like you did today. It's gonna be nonstop, guys. And I told you last his last time he was in office, we had some of the biggest days. I had a lot of them. It was wild. So I'm expecting it to happen, and even better so this time that again, we're going to get that little pullback period, and it's expected. I already know we're going to get it. But the beautiful thing is that we're going to be able to trade these options so well that we're going to be able to run the market no matter which way it's going. If it wants to go up, we're on it. If it wants to go down, we got it. So it's going to be nonstop, just boom, ba boom, ba boom. Trade them smart, and I'm telling you, you won't even believe what your accounts can do that fast with these options. I'm just goofing off, and I'm like, holy shit, this is getting crazy. Like I said, that one today, that CONL was like over. What was I forget what it posted. I posted that, but it was up over $800 for that one per option. Again, there are 100 shares, so and they're all different. So whatever the strike was, I think it's next Friday was the strike price, and yeah, I mean, if you just nail them right, it's pretty wild. I'm telling you. So here we go. Let's just roll through. Like I said, we'll get through the big caps and I'll roll through laptop travels and then we'll see what else is happening on the scanners and all. So here we are. Let's look at the SPY. SPY up $14 today, up at $591. I mean, just you think it was excited that Trump won, and it's setting up super bullish. And now here, this is what I was telling some people today, and obviously telling you guys. Huge reaction, obviously, to Trump winning, and the market went ballistic. Now, obviously, it's going to want to continue to go up, but it ran up so much and it's blasting off. And the Fed's speaking tomorrow, so you got to remember that's happening as well, and it should be pretty good. I mean, They're doing some rate stuff, and it should be decent anyway. So they look like they want to pop off and get in the top, but I'm just not so sure if yet they want to. So we're gonna roll through the other big caps, and I'm not saying they're gonna stay down for long, but I could see the SPY hitting where it is because I mean it just popped up too much. I guess it's never too much, but that kind of jump in a day for the SPY, when you're jumping at $14 the way it did off that reaction, you know it's going to come down pretty soon. It can run up a little more, but that overreaction's got to settle down, and that's when you want to get in them. Obviously, if you were in it yesterday, it was a beauty because it ran up $14 today, and it was a nice hit. But you got to be careful, and let's roll through the rest of them. GameStop, GME, that's up 11 cents. I'm telling you, that one's setting up. The 20 and 50 are meeting. You just have to see if it wants to pull back any. And oh yeah, that's the best part. Yup. Thank you, laptop travel. Well, the Fed interest rate cuts. So it is going to be a rate cut, and then we already know that Gessler and Powell are going to be gone. Trump already said it. I mean, he made it very clear that they were going to be gone. So there you go. They will definitely change that all around. So that could be the Fed. The Fed won't. They won't be speaking much longer for the Fed. And yeah, you're just going to see an entirely different way of operating this country, and it's going to be in the right way. I can just see it. I'm telling the charts are already telling you that. That's why you're seeing this kind of excitement, because it's just like, holy shit, we got out of this rut, and now we're just going to go to like superpower, and you can see it. So PACB real quick for Jennifer Lee. She just popped this on, and it does have earnings tomorrow. What a close and open 263 at open, close at 265. It's at the top. If anything, it's running up early in the morning, Jennifer Lee. First thing in the morning, but I'm not so sure. I look at mine and it got up to that 288. Mine looks like it wants to come down. And this is why I'm kind of saying I think some of these ran up on the reaction today, where they didn't really need to. And it might have kind of messed them up a little bit for their earnings. It's not a bad thing. It's just, the whole entire market went kind of wild today because Trump won, and you know what it really was, and I think it was. This is my opinion anyway. Not only did Trump win, it was actually a smooth count, and we're not waiting 2 or 3 days. And I think the market, honestly, with the way I was looking at it, I think the market was expecting a day or two. Even though it was going to be a landslide, I think it thought that it kind of looked like it wanted to wait around the day before it really got cruising. And obviously, as soon as they announced it last night, it was that landslide, but the results were just coming out with no problem. It really just went booming. And you could just kind of see it. But yesterday it was just kind of sitting there. And again, it was the election. So you're not going to have, it just doesn't know. And now it's that overreaction, and it's a huge reaction. So that's why I'm saying don't get caught chasing any of these up here at the moment. Just let them, even if they run up a little higher, you can play them real quick for a momentum play. Just let them pull back, and we catch them at the perfect timing next week. And then, boom, they're going to be off and running, and it's going to be nonstop hitting poppers, getting out of it. The next popper, the next sector sets up. It's just going to be a revolving door of just nonstop hits. And then you're going to introduce crypto to it, and it's just going to be like, holy cow, like it's going to be a fun time. And again, you don't even have to trade that many. You just trade the ones that are really popping for you and look the best, and you just destroy it. And I think some of you can kind of see where we're going with this. So I know like Luis Rodriguez, because he looks at these option ones and has that vision, and like laptop travel, Jennifer Lee, East Coast BJ, a lot of you guys, Profit Logic, he's always on these guys, and you guys just have that mindset where you guys can see it. And I'm telling you, it's going to get wild because you can just see it happening. So that's why I'm kind of telling you tonight, don't get crazy tomorrow because the market popped up today. Just time it out perfectly, which we're going to do. And another thing I learned just messing around with these options is you really want to time these things perfectly because it makes I mean, it's not the end of the world. You're still going to make money. But just for example, that's CONL. If you timed it out perfect today or yesterday, just kind of knew that they were running up. And I mean, Coinbase, we've been looking at it and it had pulled back there on the earnings. Let's go over it now, as a matter of fact, while I'm talking about it, all over the place tonight. But again, Coinbase on the earnings right there, October 30th. This thing was so set up right there on October 30th. It was looking great. But on the 29th, it hit up right there at the resistance. And then the 30th, it just had that weird look. And then, yup, on the 31st, Halloween, a nice dip, came down to 178, sat down here for a few days. You knew it was setting up. It just sat right on that line. It was perfect. The 50 just started rolling up and or the 20 and boom, you just knew it was ready to rock and roll. And that's Coinbase. So yeah, that one, as a matter of fact, my buddy played that one today, and that one actually ran up way higher. It was up $60 plus today. It was pretty wild. And that CONL, I guess they were probably around the same percentage wise. Um, the CONL did the exact same thing. That's the ETF, and I played that one. And again, yesterday it was just like perfect, just sitting right there on the line. You saw it pull back. Um, we were talking about these bad boys setting up, and you could just see it happening. And that's why my options expires on the 15th. And because I gave myself a little leeway, and yeah, boom, look at it. It just went nuts. And when you can hit them like that and just do it real quick. And like I said, we'll even buy this long. Just let it run up when it pulls back down at the right time. Or if I wanted to, I would have bought that long on the other day when it was down at like that $22 area. But I'll seek out that bottom again. And that's what I'm trying to say is if you find them bottoms at the right time, like you could have bought this the other day on the earnings. Let's give an example. Was it the earnings? No. Well, it probably was the 31st. If you bought it, it opened at 30 something. It ran up to 31, came down to 22. And if you bought it anywheres in that area, you were pretty safe. But again, you didn't get it down at that very bottom, probably. So it makes a difference. And then the time and everything else. So here is the actual there you go. It went up what? Oh, it went way down, huh? Holy cow. Did it go down that much in the after hours? That would be pretty wild. Um, I'm just looking laptop travel just sent a thing over and it went down like $2 in the after hours. I'm just surprised it went down that much, but yeah, it says $1.86 right here. But yeah, I mean it's the thing looked great and it honestly still looks good to keep going. It got cut right there. Could pull back a little bit. Can't really tell. It's kind of hard. But yeah, I think it'll still pop up some more and Coinbase. And like I said, the crypto markets are going insane right now. So I do expect it to run up a little bit. So there you go. And that's exactly what we're going to be looking at. And I've been kind of zeroing in on. And again, not really trying to play all of them. Just find the best ones, I think. And look, I mean, it ran up over 61% as a stock. So you know when it's running up like that as an option, it's going buck wild. And they're the ones that if you can find them, two or three of them a week, I'm telling you, you're making pretty good money. And uh, and it's really simple. I mean, piece of cake, I'll tell you that. It was pretty stress free. So there you go. You buy a couple of them options, and like I said, they were up over $800 an option today. So just have an idea of that. And boom, I think they cost around four something or five. They weren't exactly the cheapest ones, but again, I'm playing the ones that I'm very confident in, and I'm not worrying about that aspect because I'm that confident in it. And I knew it was going to jump up, and I'm not going to be in it long. I bought it out long enough where I knew if it didn't jump up today, I was more confident that I'd still have that time. And boom, you just nail them down. And and stay away from the goddamn earnings because I'm telling you, they're very hard to see. So there you go with that. Let's roll through our list and see what's happening here with AMC because that one was up like 19 cents but pulled back in the after hours. And I'm telling you, this thing is just curling up. I've been telling you guys it's getting ready to run. Look for it tomorrow if it wants to pull back a little. Again, these things are overreacting, and this one's setting up. It probably shouldn't have ran up like a crazy person today. It ran up to like 480 and it probably didn't need to, but it was just kind of reacting and people are just kind of funneling money into the market because everyone's kind of excited today. Had over 24 million in volume. So just let it pull back. It's setting up right here and that 20 is right there at like 434, but again, it actually dropped to 430 in the after hours. And the difference between that 458 and buying it around 430 or lower at the right price, I'm telling you, I've been really looking at these things, and if you can get them right there at them bottom prices, I didn't really worry about it as much with stocks, I don't think. But these options, if you can really nail them down there at the bottom, like I said, the percentages just get crazy. So if you're down a little bit and then you get in the money, it just is just astronomical. They just get wild. So I am looking at them to try to find them bottom prices. I feel like it's worth it. And obviously if we're not catching the exact bottom, it's not the end of the world. But if we can distinguish like, for example, on AMC like November 4th, it's at 454 and then it pops back down to 430s the next day. Yeah, it's definitely worth taking it and taking the setup that looks better when it does it. So that's exactly what I've been kind of eyeing up and looking. And again, we kind of, I mean, I was very confident in the election, but you just never know what's going to happen in this world. So you gotta have to just play things a little smarter too. And so I was, and then I was just doing my research and making sure that, if it's set up the way I thought, we're ready to rock and roll. So I've been s- doing some things and getting it all together. And like I said, it's gonna just be amazing, guys. So just stick with me, trust me, because I think most of you trust me at this point. Been doing it for a few months, and then you guys kind of see how honest and accurate things can be. And again, I just tell you what the chart says. I just leave my emotions to the side and tell you what I'm looking at. And I enjoy doing it. So here we are with Chewy. It's definitely running up, but it looks like it's going to hit that $30 area and bounce back down. So again, I'm confident that like next week is going to be a really good setup week. And the other thing I want to start doing, oh yeah, this is great lessons today. I don't know why I'm pulling them all out like on a tired night, but it's just coming to me. Um the other thing is now that I lost it, oh my God. Yeah, just let me come back to that. Um, I know what I was gonna say, but it'll take a while and I'll come back to it because it'll just take way too long. Let me roll through this because we've been talking about a lot of stuff and I know what I was gonna go down and I'm like, I'll be talking about that for 10 minutes too. So let me roll through this list so it don't get crazy. NVIDIA, let's go. That was up 570. I mean, all of these are going to be up. Nvidia's earnings, remember, are coming up on the 20th. They're coming up, and this thing's curling up. I think Nvidia is going to run up some more tomorrow. It just looks like it's keeping that momentum. But again, it's going to run up, and then it's going to be weird for its earnings. So I'll definitely stay away from it. But if you want a nice momentum guy, Nvidia is probably good. And all of these, I'm telling you, well, obviously we were looking at them, and I was. Apple was the only one coming down, but it's just kind of basing out there and looking good. I think Apple's going to be getting set up like crazy right there. So we're keeping an eye on Apple just to see exactly when it wants to. And again, it opened 222.61 and it closed at 222.72. So it's got them weird looks and they're setting up. I can tell you that. That's what I do know. Google ran up. Remember, I was saying it probably will run up into the 180s, but it's going to pull back there. I'm not so sure that they want to get in the top, but setting up super bullish. I mean, they all are. It's crazy. Amazon up seven something today. Another one just super bullish. This one will probably run up in the top, but I don't know. I mean, they're just it's an overreaction, and this, I'll make it short. This is what I'd rather wait for next week and just know that we're, in the right spot rather than chase this bad boy like an Amazon. I was gonna say it in the last one, but real quick, rather than chase an Amazon, yeah, it's gonna be a momentum play. It's all good. But rather than chase it on like the overreaction, I'd rather wait for the best setup on it and let it pull back instead of getting really aggressive on them. And that's what I was gonna kind of say, but I kind of pull it back a little bit and reword it. And but yeah, I think when we don't grab them on green days and like today, because today was just a crazy green day. When you see it lit up like that and you're buying them, there's a good chance that you're gonna get caught in a dip. And it's just something else that I've been looking at on my research, and I'm like, you know what, we should just be buying them in red days. And then because the next day they're going up a good 2 to 4% with no problem, depending on which ones you're looking at. And if you're buying them when it's lit up like this, yeah, there's a very good chance you're going to get caught in something and have to wait around. And again, you don't want to with the expiration dates or anything like that. You want to kind of time them out just the right way. Maybe leave yourself a week or two leeway. It's perfectly fine. It doesn't kill you. Trust me. It's the percentages are so high that you're perfect. Obviously, the closer you get to it, the more you make, but you're not worrying about it being 2 weeks away and you hit your strike price and get out. And again, that one, my strike price is what, next Friday? They were up over $800 an option today. So that particular one. Um, and yeah, you just buy a couple of them and you're good to go. I mean, yeah, they're pricey, but they definitely pay. They're worth it. It's pretty safe, I thought, and yeah, I knew which way it was going and left myself enough time for it. So again, I'll explain all that what I do and make a video. I just been messing with it. And the other thing I was gonna say, obviously, was yeah, we're not going to chase them when this market's this green. We're going to look for these red days, and they're the days that we're going to really be buying them. And then zeroing in on them bottom prices because I'm telling you, it makes such a difference. And when you see these percentages start moving up, and it's so easy, like a day that Tesla dips down, and then for example, you see it go in the dip, then you just buy your put option on it for like a couple days or a week or two out, you're gonna hit it. You sell that one, and then as it sets up, you go back up and hit it on the way up. So we can easily do that as well. And if you're playing options on leveraged ETF, man, you're doubling. I didn't even really think about that. So you're absolutely right, Laptop Travel. I wasn't really thinking about that with the ETFs, how much more, because that's two times. So that's uh that's why it was so crazy. That CONL, 2 time long coin. So yeah. So yeah, you hit these ETFs on here on a option like laptop travels saying. I mean, you're doubling and tripling your leverage. It's a literally ridiculous. I mean, you don't got to do it on every ETF, but something like this, it was a piece of cake, and we kind of did it this way. Me and my buddy that I was saying, I bought this one. He got the coin. Wanted to kind of see the differences. And I said this one was like insane. Now I didn't even think about it. I went right over my head, laptop travel. Glad you saw it. But that's why. Remember I was saying earlier that it was like way crazier, and then I was like, wait, they're both 61% or right around there. That's because this was 2 times, and it made a huge. I'm telling you, it was insane. And and we can easily just knock these out of the park pretty easily. I'm telling you, and again, I kind of weeded out the things that we don't want to do pretty quickly. And I wasn't even really making the mistakes. It was more or less just doing research and paper trade. We paper trade so many of them, so it gives me an easy look a lot of times. So I'm just always taking notes and going back and looking at things. And that's why I probably wasn't posting as much because I've been just looking at a bunch of charts and breaking this stuff down. But yeah, I'm pretty confident that We're not buying on the earnings days, and we're not buying when the market's lit up green. Unless we just want to catch the momentum plays. If you're getting up at 4 a.m. and you want to catch them momentum plays on Web Bull, perfectly fine. But again, you're going to wake up in the morning, see which ones are running up, in and out of them. Boom. You're not buying an option on it for that. You're just trading that one. And then the option ones, like I said, you just get the perfect setup when it hits that bottom. You get in them, and then within a couple days, you get out of them. You set your strike price for like 2, 3 weeks out, so you know you're safe. And bam. And I'm telling you, it's just a little method that I just been doing, and it seems to be working pretty well. I know it won't be 100%. Obviously, nothing ever is. But Jesus, the way these things are rocking and rolling right now, and if this market continues the way we think, holy cow, I can't even imagine. Because, like I said, I think I've been doing it kind of small, probably bigger than most people would be doing it, but to me, on a smaller scale. And I'm just kind of impressed by the percentages right now. I'm like, wow, this is wild. Like, really start bumping these things up because I'm confident. And again, like I explain all the time, if you can't trade with $10, you can't do it with 100, you can't do it with 1,000, you can't do it with 10,000. But if you can trade really smart with $10, guess what? You can trade smart with 100. You can bump them numbers up, and you don't go from $10 to 10,000. You get really good with $10, and you get really good with $100, and then you get really good at doing it with $1,000, and then by that point, you have plenty of money where you can basically do what you want to do. And at whatever increments you want to trade at. But again, it, if you can't do it at $10, throwing more money at it is not going to make it easier to be able to trade. You're just going to lose more money. So I like to make that very clear. And like I said, everybody has different ideas of what trading big and small is. So that's why I try to keep numbers and things and that kind of thing. But I'm just trying to give you an example of what these things pay out. And just telling you because it's something a newer thing I'm getting into. I've always traded stock straight up, and like I said, I've done really well with them. But this is way easier. You can trade them way smarter, way easier. It takes the risk and or not the risk. It takes almost the stress out of it because it's like, all right, this expiration's hitting. I'm in the money. This thing's way up. I mean, this is crazy. I'd be an idiot even if it goes up tomorrow, I'm still an idiot if I don't sell it today. And that's how much they go up. And it's just like, wow, that's crazy. Obviously, some of the smaller ones don't do it. That's why I started messing around with like the Fords and the smaller ones and jumped right into the Mag 7s and realized like, holy, and then again, an ETF, it's going to pay way more. So I was just kind of experimenting, seeing what did work and what doesn't. And like I said, I think I have a pretty good idea. And, yeah, we'll rock and roll these things, I'm telling you. So in the next week or so, we'll really get zeroed in and get moving. Now we know who won the presidency and how the charts are all set up. So let's roll through this real quick. We'll finish it up. Um, and yeah, I definitely talked a lot tonight. But like I said, I felt like we were ending a chapter with the election because I was calling it for the 3 months. There wasn't much to say after that. And here we go. Now here's the next 3 months setting up, and it's looking beautiful. But I also say, and just don't get caught on the overreaction today from all the excitement because I don't want you buying them at the top and they're gonna pull back a little bit to shoot up. You don't want to be waiting around. You can use that money freed up to trade the popper that day. So I'm telling you, we're gonna zero in and really just nail it perfectly. Trade smart. That's all you have to do. So here we go. Let me roll through. We looked at Amazon. Oh yeah, Amazon was looking great today. And again, I don't know, it might hit that top and come back down. It has a lot of momentum. So who knows, but it'd probably be better for it to hit that top, come back down and set back up for next week, to be completely honest. And Meta was down. I thought it was up today. Um, 572. What did it even close at yesterday? Whatever. It was down 38 cents, it says. Um, It's just kind of flat and run down there. But again, it's setting up super bullish up over that 600. I wanted it to come back. Remember, I said like the 540s or the 550s. It's in the 570s right now. So, and its low is what today? Oh shit, today's low is 555. It got down that low. Well, there you go. 555 was its low today. And I'm telling you, it's right around there where it's going to start setting up. Your 20 is going to come down, scoop it up. It probably has like a week left. So that's why I'm saying let's just time them out right and nail them. And again, I wasn't really trying to play the election that hard. I was confident in what I saw, but you just don't know. I mean, it's I like I explained, I lived through two elections and seen what goes on. You just didn't know it was going to happen. I mean, I just know it should have been the biggest landslide, but somehow they end up finding all these votes, but they just couldn't do it this time. So it seemed to be a nice, clean, fair election from what it appears, and yeah, that's what it looked like. And that's what we need in this country. And the better person. Hey, if Harris had won clean, you have to say, hey, it's the way it is, and you support the president, and hopefully the country runs the best way. Obviously we wouldn't think that it was going to work that way, but you have to kind of hope for the best, and that's what you do. And you just, what are you going to do? We live in a society where you get the vote, but your vote obviously isn't the end all choice. So you have to live with what the majority rule is in this country. And then they figured out how to, yeah, everyone figures out how to cheat, manipulate things. So then you got to deal with that too. So can't hang your life up on it. You just got to move forward and hope that the country, makes the best choices. And like I said, I think the country stepped up and made the best choice, and we're going to benefit from it. So Microsoft is curling up again, hitting a line. It was down there based up. I don't think it was really ready today to get moving like it did, but it didn't really have a choice. So I'm not that confident that it's popping through tomorrow. It could be like not a red day, but just not as green because I mean things like lime green today. I don't think we've seen green like this since he was in office last time. I'm not even kidding. And thing is like lime green for the most part. It's crazy. We've seen a few green days, but they've been very far few in between. And I mean, they literally announced the winner and the thing went lime green. So you had a lot of big reaction and people were excited, obviously. The market was. Tesla, I mean, Tesla obviously was the big winner. Probably going to continue up right there. And remember down at that 213 or what 220 was it? I forget what it was. I think it was 212. Remember that day? That was down in October 23rd. And now it's at 288 Tesla. Holy cow. And I kind of said it was going 240, 260 and then up, but that thing just went like 40 hours again today. So yeah, Tesla's no joke. And obviously it's probably going to be on top of the world right now as Elon's going to basically be in the cabinet, I would assume. Um, Nike did pull back today. I don't know why or how, because it was looking great, but another one, let it bounce off that bottom right there, and these things are perfect. And another reason why, it's very volatile and the market reacted great, but let that dust settle and we can see it perfectly. Like a Nike's a great one when it's down here and it's going to run back up into that 90s. Remember we did it in the summertime. Um, it was an easy option. Remember it's $73 and it ran up to 96. Well, you're going to get another stab at it. So that's Nike right there. So yeah, these things are just looking really good, and it's probably good. Like I said, they just kind of ran up. Rivian pulled back. Their earnings are tomorrow. Thing was set up today. It looked perfect on the 20, and then all of a sudden, or yesterday, and then all of a sudden today, it just opens at 1010, went up to 1024, and then down to 950. It's at 974. So it's like, and it had 69 million in volume. We know it's setting up, and it did. It ran up, and then as soon as it hits the earnings, it just gets wacky. But now we've got a better opportunity too. So you could have played that first pop, basically the week of the earnings, and that's how I'm going to look at them. Look at the earnings, see what looks decent that week leading up to it, what wants to pop up, and then just hit that one, get out of it for the earnings, and then look at it again after. And Rivian's a great example of that one because it was good this week, and then earnings tomorrow, boom, big dip today, and then you get out, and obviously you're ready. So perfect example. And again, I'm just looking at these things the best way we can play them and the smartest way and what's the most lucrative. And I've been doing the research, and like I said, I think we're gonna crush it. PLTR is just an animal up here, so be careful. Obviously, if it's running up in the morning, run it up as high as you can, but just be careful. I mean, it just keeps running up. And like I said, um, literally the CEO is like, I don't really need to say anything. Our sales and earnings are just crushing it, so it doesn't matter. And it didn't matter because it just went flying. So that's PLTR. Let's see what else is there. Sophie, SOFI up 39 cents. I think this one's it's curling up to go back up into the top. I'm actually surprised. I thought Sophie was going to try to pull back. I have to see what it did in the after hours. SOFI. I mean, it looks like it wants to try to continue up tomorrow. I'd be careful. Another one, like, just can't really. It does look like it wants to do it, but could easily come back down. You can't tell over the reaction right there. Dell, this was up. I know that. And literally they're all hitting like that top area, so have to definitely be we'll definitely be watching it. Their earnings are coming up on November 26th, so we'll have to see what Dell wants to do. And again, it's hitting that top. I'll watch them. If they get into the top, we know that we're comfortable for a few days to trade them up there. But if they're just going to hit that top and bounce down, you don't want to take that risk. So that's all you're looking at right there. And most of these are trying to do just about that. That snow. Remember, we were looking at this. It's set up. It ran up 492, and again, it's hitting that top. It's trying to curl through. I'm not so sure. Earnings are way out on the 20th, and it's setting up super bullish. I think it trades between this channel right here, and then gets rolling. So snow, it did run up, and again, most of them did today. AMD curling back up. You're gonna see this one start popping. So keep an eye on AMD. I think this one's setting up to get moving, and that bottom probably was 139. So keep an eye on AMD because that one's looking really good. QCOM. Oh, that one was great. We already said, I know we said that last night was going, and that one moved. That one had its earnings. And remember, I was like, God, it looks great on the earnings, but I've been saying they do the opposite, but that one looked great. I mean, and it did pop. Again, it's just it looked great. It popped up, and it probably popped up because of all the craziness going on. Then it ran up a little more in the after hours. So once it kept caught that momentum, it was ready to roll. But QCOM was definitely one we were looking at and said that was rolling up. PayPal, this one was up a little bit, but pulled back in the after hours, just 4 cents. I thought it pulled back some more. But yeah, just another one getting ready to curl up. So I have a feeling we're gonna look for all these bottoms for the most part in the next day or so. Maybe next week, early next week, and then they're just gonna get cruising. So you just don't want to get caught on this overreaction. That's all I don't want you to do. SMCI down another $5, and maybe this one's gonna be in real trouble because I think they only have until like what day is it? I have to look, but they only have until so long before the Nasdaq wants to delist them if they can't get an auditor. So I don't know if they actually did. I have no idea what they're up to, but it is pulling back and it's way down there. So watch for any bounce plays, but I have no idea with this SMCI. It is just getting smoked down there. But like I said, it's way down there. I bet if they announce an auditor or somebody or do something, announce something positive, it'll probably bounce really hard. So that's why I'm saying just keep an eye on it and look for that bounce move. INTC, I was reading earlier that the CEO is buying a bunch and it looks great. It's going to hit that $25 area, hit a little resistance. And again, I can't exactly tell if they want to go through because they popped up so much today. I mean, it didn't go crazy, but it did run up like over 7%. And it didn't, I mean, this one was kind of setting up to do it. And another one we were talking about, but didn't necessarily need to get up right there. And it did, but I'll look at it in the morning and see if Intel wants to keep its momentum or if we're going to find that better price. Disney's popping off of there. Their earnings are coming up the 14th. And yeah, that thing looks like it's going to get rolling some more. So keep your eye on Disney. And we were talking about it going to 100. Well, it's at 98 right now. So um yeah, oh yeah, I did see that. Laptop Travel said SMCI is about to join our stock ticker cemetery. You're not kidding because I'm telling you, they do not have much left going on. Um, at Laptop Travel asked from listening, am I doing 2 weeks or 4 week options typically? It kind of depends. I almost been doing like the 4 weeks just to play it safer. And if I know it's absolutely going up, like some of them, I go, oh, that one's gonna definitely move tomorrow. Um, I try to do like the closer one, the 2 week one, but I haven't really set it in stone. I guess I kind of take it and with how well they look set up and how confident I am with that timing. But I think I'm probably going to do it more a month just to make sure I have that extra time frame just in case. And again, it's not really the end of the world if you're hitting your strike price and you still have like 2 weeks to your expiration. When you see the amount that these things are running up, you're just like, yeah, it would have been more if I was closer, but I'm not going to argue and complain about it. I mean, it's just wild. So, and again, it's just not the same as you're buying one share and it going up $8. I mean, you're buying an option, you have 100 shares, and these things are just, leveraged. So you're just not everyone's the same, but the percentages are just wild. As you see, as I post them, you're getting like hundreds of percent. And as opposed to hitting that 100%er and I had to run like a crazy thing and be a penny stock, you can hit options hundreds of percent almost on the daily without even trying. So that's, the big difference right there. It's a huge difference, honestly. So there you go. But yeah, I've been trying to, and again, just experiment and doing it a little cheaper. Obviously, buying some of the big caps, maybe not the cheapest thing. Like I said, some of them are like $500 an option, but I'm very confident that it's going up and they're paying. So it's worth it, trust me. And that's the thing though. You definitely have to be confident. And that's why I'm saying that's why we want that bottom price. We definitely want to be confident because if you're showing out $500 and it has an expiration date, you don't want to get caught with your pants down because you can lose it. As opposed to a stock and dip down and you can wait like a year for it to come back or a couple months. I'm just giving you an example. That expiration date hits and you're beat. So it just expires and you're done. If it's not up there, you're out of whatever you bought in for. So for example, if it was a $500 option, you're going to be out that. And so some of the smaller ones, obviously, like a Ford. Well, I don't even know if Ford's trading at, but I know I had bought them 11.19, and that was a good one. It bounced up today like 5%. But yeah, like that's 11.19. Them options are going to be fairly cheap right there. And when you're looking at like an Apple, that's at $222. You're looking at something that's going to be a little more. Um, Here we go. Let's look at McDonald's real quick. We'll get to it, but let's look at it right now. MCD, and it's down a little bit. Again, it's trying to set up, and that's why I think the other day was its bottom on the 30th at 289. It's at 294 right now, but I don't think it's ready yet. And so that's why I would wait for McDonald's, and it's going to be great. But again, you just have to have that right time. And so I kind of just I'll look at it right here, and like I said, I'm pretty confident that 289 is its low, and then today it got down to 292. It's at 294, but I think it's going to pull back a little bit tomorrow. So I'm going to look at it, see what it's going to do, and try to get it down as low as I can to that bottom price that I thought it was at that 289. So I want to see it get into the 280s. And and if it never gets into the 280s, you just watch it. And as soon as it makes that right curl and you know it's going to move at the right time, you get a quick option. You can buy it a month out because you're confident it's going up. And boom, you know, you ride it up real quick and then bam, you get in and out. And like I said, you might have bought it a little further out than you needed to, but you gave yourself, I look at it more like yeah, call option I'm talking about. Yep, a call option. And I'm giving it more like an insurance policy because again, I looking at this thing and I'm saying wait for it to pull back McDonald's um around that 289. That's where you want to look at it. You kind of established that's its bottom right there. It hit it on October 30th, and that looks like it's pretty solid. And now you're just looking to see if it can pull back there again because it wants to pull back before it sets up. And then you look at it and your 20's up here at like 302. So you're right there, and it's coming down to meet the 50. So you know you're going to be right around there. Now, is it going to jump up from 298 to that 302 tomorrow and get in the channel? It doesn't look like it. It could, but if it does, then you know that you're right around there for your bottom and you're ready for your 20 to come down, scoop you up, and take you up. So, oh, where, looking at these, where would and so this is what I look at. So why I want to try to find the bottom is a great question. If you're asking where like my strike price or what I would try to look at for that. So great. That would be that's why I want to find that bottom because I don't even look I'm not looking at the options chains, but they generate like 50 cents off. I'll look at it like so if I can find it at that 289 area, I know it's going to 291, 292 without even trying. It's bouncing in there today without even trying. So that's why I think finding that lowest point is very important on this because if they do bounce around and you have your expiration for a month out, you're safe on it. But you know, if it runs up a little bit and it doesn't hit your strike yet and you're not ready to sell it and then it pulls back down and it comes back to that bottom, you're still pretty safe. You're not going to be out. And if you know the expiration creeps up and you're just sitting right around there and it jumps up a little bit, hey, it's not doing what I want to do. I'll sell it and I'll make a little bit on it. But if you buy it when it spikes up a little bit and it starts playing that jump around game on you and it's pulling back, you and it starts expiring on you and it's never hitting that strike price, you'll get burnt. So that's why I kind of been breaking it down as trying to look at how as safe as possible, but also try to maximize it all. And I remember I was saying this before, I was kind of experimenting, and I'm probably not done yet, but I think I'm pretty good at, not good at it. I'm definitely going to learn more and more and more, but I think I'm getting it down to where I understand where we got to get them at, what to look for. Don't mess with the earnings. And don't buy them on super green days because it's not worth it because the next day it pulls back and then you could have bought it that day and then the day after that it's up another three it bounces right back up. So you might as well buy them when they're down because it makes it so easy to make that money. And again, a 3% isn't exactly 3% in an option because these things are just multiplying. And so you can see a difference. And so that's just been my angle of looking at it. And again, I have no idea if it's a normal way to trade options. It's basically a newer thing for me. I was always just a stock guy that did stocks and straight up. So, but I love these options and this leverage and everything because it's quite amazing. But and that's what I would look for. I'm not looking to see like, oh yeah, McDonald's is going to hit 310. I get and this is the other difference. So say it's at 294 and you got it at 289, you're comfortable it's going to 310 and you put your strike price at 305. Yes, that option will be cheaper for you. I'd rather it be more expensive to be honest, this is the way I look at it. I don't know if it's normal, right, or wrong. I have no idea. Again, I'm not a financial guy, so I just telling you what my experience is. I'd rather pay more for the premium, knowing I'm blasting through that thing, and I'm definitely safe. And that's just the way I've been looking at them. And like I said, I was probably off on like two of them so far, and they weren't detrimental at all. It wasn't anything major. They were smaller ones, and like I said, the bigger ones I've been just kind of zeroing in and doing it the right way, I think. And obviously, you're not going to hit every one of them, but when you're making the kind of percentages you can make, you can afford to lose one or two here and there. So you're not going to, like I call it, it's called overhead in a business. And you accept it. But like I said, I just been trying to approach it a safer way, as safe in my eyes, because I never did it. And what seems logical, and what can you kind of stretch the most amount of profit in that you're safe with, that you feel comfortable and confident with. So it's kind of just taking that approach, that view of it, and try to figure it out. And yeah, I've been loving it. So, like I said, and that's why I've been trying to share everything with you and let you know what I've been doing, because again, I'm just kind of experimenting, but I posting the stuff that I'm doing, and you guys can see it's pretty wild when you see these option plays. They get nutty. So that's what I would look for McDonald's, and we'll look for it. And I'll look at it tomorrow. We'll see what it wants to do. And again, I think with this, it's uber patience is the thing that pays off. Just being so patient with it and knowing that you're getting that bottom. And the other thing is your mindset, not worrying about thinking that you're missing something. If you don't hit the one that you're like McDonald's, say we don't catch it in the 280s and it shoots out of its mind, and you don't hit that one, you're not upset about it, because there's 100 more lined up ready to rock and roll that you're going to get at the right price. It wasn't worth chasing it and getting caught in a bad situation. And I think that extra patience that I've been applying to this has just been the difference maker, to be honest with you. I think it's the difference in the mindset, and just the difference in being patient with them and letting the chart tell me what it sees, not trying to make something up and say, oh, yeah, it's setting up and it should get moving. Well, if it should get moving, it's not moving tomorrow. It's setting up. And I say it all the time. And I asterisk the ones that I think are definitely moving the next day. Do they all definitely move? Not all of them, but for the most part, they do. I mean, they start moving for the most part. So that's what we're zeroing in on, and really just nailing them down. And that's what I would look for on this particular one. And again, I just been looking at the bigger ones because, yeah, you pay a little bit more, but it's like watching grass grow. It's so easy. It seems like, hey, you see that bottom, you're like, yeah, it's definitely going past that. And it does. They just do it. You get out of it, you sell it. You don't worry about if it goes higher, because again, you're just going to buy the next option. So you're not married to these things, because they would expire anyway. So what the hell's the difference? It's not like you're going to own this thing for life. So you look at it that way, in a totally different mindset than a stock, because a stock you could have forever. And for whatever reason, your brain wants to keep it. I don't know why. It's hard to hit the sell button. But this thing, you're just like, well, it's going to expire. Let me just sell it here. It's fine. It goes up. I'll buy another one that's going to go up. It's all good. And you just keep that mindset going and just keep rolling them around. And like I said, I just been kind of experimenting and having fun with it. So I can only imagine, as these charts get better and easier, and then I really start putting real money on these things. Holy cow, it's going to be wild. Like, I start buying like 10 of these 50 or 20 of these options, and they just get wild like that. I mean, it could be you could have crazy days. So again, I've explained, like, I've traded for a long time, and I understand the risks of it all. And like I say, if you really want to get crazy in penny stocks and make a lot of money, you're putting a couple $1,000s up. Trust me, like anywhere from 3 to 5 grand, you're gonna put pony up and put it in a penny stock to try to make it. It's 100% plus. Guess what? You just made some good money, but you're not really. It's almost not worth it if you're not really doing it at that level and really trying to press it, because again, you got to trade these things so smart and get in and out at the right time, that you can get caught too quick on these things. So unless you're really like zeroed in on them, and again, I'd done it for a long time, so I really was zeroed in, and it just seems like they got, I guess, in the last few years with these charts and everything. And I explained the penny stocks, they just didn't run like they used to. They started to pick back up again, but they're just not. They get shorted down. It's just a whole different world, and yeah, you can just see that these options and like I said, the futures are probably even better because apparently the leverage and everything's even better, and your prices are cheaper or something. So I'm not exactly sure. We'll do that later on, but like I said, I'll explain what I do as often, like as best as I can. I'll make a video of what I do, and I just been kind of just messing around with it, trying to figure out, what the best method I think is, or, try to discover something that works. And it's definitely been working. I can say that. So that's what I would look for. And like I said, ask whatever you want because I'll tell you exactly what I'll do. And Laptop Travel is saying actually sometimes he actually executes some or a portion of the options just to keep a great long-term holder stock. And yeah, that's like you can do that. You execute it, and then you can sell the option to buy the stock at that cheaper price. And again, I'll try to explain all this to you. Options, I try, and this is the other thing I tried to do because it is very it's kind of confusing, I guess. It's a little intimidating. I just tried to keep it really, really simple as I try to keep everything. Look what I do with charts. I keep them as basic and stupid and simple as I can. And and I try to do that with everything almost. And yeah, options, that's just the way I looked at it. I said, how can I keep this as simple as possible? Because they're just a little weird and confusing. I'm like, hey, just pick. I know this is going up. Let's see what this looks like. Pick it out a little further so I'm safe. It's like an insurance play. Yeah, it's you're not going to make as much, but you're going to make way more than you are if you're trading stocks. And you just put the numbers together and crunch it, and you're just like, holy cow! I'm telling you, in a couple of weeks, it's been pretty wild. And I posted a few of them. I didn't post all of them, but I've posted a few of them, and you can see the percentages are just wild on them. So, and I've been doing them pretty daily. So I'll let you guys know exactly which ones. And again, I just been kind of experimenting, so I didn't really want to push the envelope and, tell people anything that I wasn't really confident with. I'm not that person, as you can tell. I'm not just putting nonsense out there for clicks. I don't do that. So I want to make sure I'm pretty confident and leading people down the right path, obviously. So that's why I kind of wanted to make sure I was on the right path, and it seems like I am. Like I said, run it by a bunch of people, have other people testing it out, doing the same thing with me, and yeah, everyone seems to be pretty happy about it. And again, I just kind of figured out we got to hit that bottom price, which is no problem. We can do it every time, and and then just basically have your little insurance. So buy it out a little bit further than you think, even though you don't hit as much, you're hitting plenty. So there you go. Let's roll through the rest of the list. I know we talked a lot tonight, but it's all good. Like I said, I think we have a lot coming up, and it's gonna get incredible. I'm telling you, you're gonna see something that you've never seen before, and it's fun. I was saying it to my wife. I was like, "Hey, remember them crazy days we used to have all the time? They're coming back. You can see it happening, and it's gonna be even crazier." That was with stocks. And trading penny stocks. Like I said, you had to be really good at it. Now it's like, this is pretty simple. I'm not gonna lie. Laptop travel, anyone that trades penny stocks or been doing this a long time and has messed around with the penny stocks and has tried to make it in there, you realize like, yeah, you can find them. You know what I say all the time. You can pick all the 100%ers you want, but if you can't trade them, they're useless. I don't say it because I didn't experience it. I've traded plenty of them well, but I've traded plenty of them not well, and they're really hard to trade. And these things, like I said, it just makes it like almost dummy proof for you. Um, I have a brain injury, so it made it real easy. But again, it's just our brains aren't wired to be able to do this. For whatever reason, it's just so hard to hit that sell button for a stock. I don't get it because you just want to see it constantly go up. And with an option, you just have a different mindset. You're like, hey, it's going to expire. Who cares? I'm buying the next one. I'm taking the profit from this, and I'm putting it into the next option that's going to expire in a month. So you don't have the mindset that I'm going to hold on to this thing forever. And I think stocks give you that mindset. And honestly, I think a lot of it, we live in a different stock world now, but growing up, at least for me, I'm 44, so growing up, and I've been doing this for over 20 years, and just knowing investing stuff, or if you just ever hear investing stuff, people are always like, hey, you buy stocks and hold on to them. And you were kind of taught that as, growing up. It was kind of the thing to do. People made money doing it that way. We live in a different world where that's not always the case now. Yeah, you can buy your Amazons and stuff like that. They all split and stuff too, and do crazy things. Yeah, you're still up a lot, but again, it's just you can only like the Mag Sevens basically are the ones that you're buying and holding. So other than that, what else are you really buying and holding? And so yeah, it's just a different type of mindset and world in the whole stock market. So all right, let's roll through these. It's getting late. Exxon Mobil, that's up $2. You're gonna see this you're going to see the gas industry probably pop up because their prices are going to come down, and obviously it's going to help the market because you're going to see everything, the gas prices come down, and then it allows more business to flow, so you end up essentially using more, and they'll make more money from it. Trust me, watch. So yeah, the gas will go up, the gas stocks will go. I'm telling you, the whole market's ready to get rolling there. So Mara, that was way up today, $3. That looks real healthy to continue tomorrow. Riot was up 254. That looks like it's gonna blast off into the top as well. So you can keep your eye on that. And you know that micro strategy was way up. It was up like $30 today, and it's trying to make that hard curl up. And again, it wants to get into the top. You just can't tell because everything overreacted a little bit. So it's just a hard one to look at. And just tell like right now, CLSK that was moving today. That clean spark, and again, they want to get through right now? It's just hard to tell. We'll know tomorrow. And again, we're going into a Friday too. So a Thursday, Friday with the Fed speaking. So you got a lot of stuff going on. And that's why I'm more confident and comfortable finding them bottoms next week and rocking and rolling them. So that's just how I look at it. We did Coinbase already, but yeah, up $60 today. And that CONL, just ridiculous, smashing them out of the park. Um, like I said, and there you so that's what it was. So Coinbase, ready? Coinbase was up $60, but only 31%. CONL was only up $16, but it was 61%. So it doubled the percentage right there. And I'm telling you, it was wild. I was like, holy cow, these things are just printing. And it was like, wow. So yeah, now I know that I might be looking at some ETFs a little bit more often now, and again, just kind of experimenting what we're going to be able to profit the best with, and do it the safest, to be honest. DJT obviously was up and down all over the place today. I'm telling you, it's going to pull back and then set up to get crazy. It had already ran up like a maniac going into the election, and then obviously ran up some more. Just let it pull back a little bit, and then obviously we'll catch it at the right price. It could come back into the 20s. So it's nothing that is gonna be wrong. It's just the chart needed to do it. So it just overreacted a little bit today. Probably should have pulled back some more, and it just ran up, and it's gonna pull back. Um, where am I? DJT Fun that was running up today, $1.06, and another one. They had their earnings too, weren't they today or tomorrow? Their earnings are tomorrow, and another one. Just weird look. I think it's going to dip down on the earnings right there. Fun, PHUN. How about MTN? Oh, let me type it in right. MTN, that mountain, what did I tell you guys? This thing was gonna rock and roll, right? It's up $12. I told you guys last night. It was gonna get moving, and boom, there you go. It was up to like $180 today, and it's gonna continue to move. So there you go with Val Resorts. I told you that thing was super bullish, and again, we're just look at these chart setups, and they just, they're gonna move. I could have done this one too today. I didn't even think about it, but knew that was going to move. I had an asterisk on it and just knew. McDonald's, we just went over again. Watch for a little pullback and we'll get the best price. And again, just being that patient, it looked like it was trying to set up a few times and just staying patient gets you that best price. And again, if it runs up and it pops out of its mind and you didn't get in it, it is what it is. And you catch the next one, you don't chase any of them, maybe a momentum play, but again, you just catch that bottom at the right price, and yeah, they just work out perfectly. It's been nice. Boeing BA, I told you this one wants to go down. I was saying before when it was going up, I wasn't sure how it was going up because it was kind of odd to me, but now it's pulling back like it should, and that is BA, and then space. Let's look at that bad boy. That's up 24 cents, and I think this one's going to get rolling. It looks like it wants to curl through real hard and get moving. So we'll keep an eye on that tomorrow. Let's look at our laptop ones because they're good. I know that ADTX, that one was setting right up. I had looked at some of them. It's like where the line cuts it, that hard line. I would take a look at this bad boy tomorrow. That ADTX for sure. I wasn't even marking any of them other ones. All them big caps, I never even put my pencil on it. Oh well, no big deal. But ADTX, keep your eye for a bounce or something tomorrow. If it's not tomorrow, it's coming up really soon. So that 20's coming down, but it's not that we don't need right now. It has that hard line look, and we know that it likes to bounce off of that. So keep your eye on that. ATPC is that A gape one, and I know it ran up recently. It was just pulling back. Let that pull back. I didn't. I honestly thought it might try to roll off of there, and it looks like it's pulling down. Yeah, it did cross down. I thought it was going to roll off, so we'll let that pull back. Look at it. BCLI. Yeah, brainstorm cell therapeutics. This is exactly what I need. Here we go. Let's see in the basement, pulling back. But again, another one. I don't think it's bottomed out yet, BCLI, but it's right about there. So I might watch that one in the morning. Let me take a look at that tomorrow morning. BCLI, that one could be a mover real soon. BIOR, that was up 7 cents. And just in that basement, that one's getting ready to start trying to bounce back up very soon. BKYI, let's see that one. BioKey International. This one's setting up really good. It was pulling back there, it ran up, but it is setting up. BKYI. Yeah, definitely pulling back, but gonna set up. I'll watch that. It's just pulling back, but gonna set up right there. So I'll keep an eye on that. CJet, we were looking at this. Didn't this run up a little bit the other day? It ran up 2 cents today. Yeah, it ran up the other day and a little bit. I'd say it's going to try to curl off of there again. CJet, CJET. It looks like it's going to roll off that MACD and get moving again. So that is CJet and CNFR. Conifer Holdings. I remember we looked at this a long time ago. It is pulling. It has a crazy look right there. Like it could go any which way. Let me see. Yeah, I'm definitely looking at that in the morning. That one has a double, like it wants to go flat, but it wants to move up. It looks like it wants to start rolling off of that 20 and 50. I would keep an eye on CNFR. EVGN, that's down 4 cents, hitting that bottom. Watch for that to try to bounce. I'm not sure it's ready yet, but it's right about there. I mean, it's real close. FEBO up 20 cents and curling up real nice right there. I'd say that's going to get back over to 20 on 380s area and get rolling. Keep your eye on FEBO. That looks like it might want to run tomorrow. Um, right there. That's really set up. FSUN, let's see, FSUN, that First Capital. Oh, that one went from monster's top to the basement right there. And yeah, I think this is going to get set up pretty soon right there. FSUN. It looks pretty good to try to get set up. I bet its bottom was like yesterday at like 34, 33. So we'll keep our eye on that one. That one's going to be good. ICU, remember this one? This one went from like the ICU to like the top of the world one time. It's way down there in the basement now, back to 260. What did it run up to that time here? Like $22 or 20, 40 something, $42 it ran up to. It's back down to 260. How crazy is that? So, or was that? That was before. Hold on, I'm lying. We looked at it, it ran up to 13. It ran up in the pre-market, like way up though. I remember it was like in the beginning of summer. It was one of the very first ones that like really popped from looking at it on the show. But whatever, it's down in the $2 area now, and it could be getting to that bottom. We'll keep an eye. It will be good. It's right down there right now. ISPC, that eye specimen. I know we were looking at this the other day. Um, oh, that one's up 51 cents in the after hours. Let me see. ISPC. This one looks really good tomorrow. I would keep my eye on that. ISPC and LKCO. Let's see what that is doing. LKCO. That's a China company. I can't even pronounce that name. Um, but it's hitting that bottom. You have to look and see if that one's pop in there. Let's see, LKCO. Uh, I'll look at that tomorrow to see if it wants to bounce. It's kind of hard to tell, to be honest. It could get into the basement right there. It's just right there. MGPJ. Is that what I have? I have no idea. MGP. Oh, is that an I? Yeah, it's probably an I. Um, yeah, it's an I. MGP ingredients. And that one's curling. Now that's one to keep an eye on for tomorrow. MGPI. Yeah. Keep your eye on that one tomorrow morning, guys, because that one looks like it wants to run. LL NLSP. Hold on. NLSP. That one's trying to curl up right there. I would say that's trying to get moving again. NLSP. It's pulled back on mine. I'll look at that in the morning as well because it's right there. I know the next one, New We, that one ran recently. What's it doing now? Down 23 cents. It just ran. It has its earnings coming up on the 11th. It's hitting that bottom. I'd have to look at that one tomorrow too. NUWE, RCKY. What's that Rocky Brands doing? Way down there. Holy cow. This one's about to get moving soon. RCKY and way down there. So that's one to definitely keep your eye on because that's going to be moving pretty soon right there. SCOR. Let me see that one. And then let me know if you guys want to see anything else. And I'll definitely look at it and let you know what it's doing. SCOR Comscore. I don't know if we ever looked at this, but they have earnings coming up on the 12th. It's trying to bounce back. Let me see. SCOR. It is. It's trying to bounce right there. I'd keep an eye on that, see if it wants to move tomorrow. Like I said, earnings coming up. A little bit weird of a look. SHIM Shimmick Corp. That one's looking pretty good right there. I'd watch for a bounce on this one right there. That one's setting up right there. Shim. SHIM. Yeah, it's looking pretty good to set up, I'd say, real soon. And that TTOO, that T2 Biosystems we were looking at for a little while, has earnings on the 14th and took a nice dip today and has a weird look. And I could imagine that you're going to start to see it try to curl back up, that TTOO. We will watch that one. And VEEA, here we go. Coming down to that bottom right there. And that 20 is where I can't tell where it's at. There it is, 376. We're at 319. Not looking too bad. Let me see this on mine. VEEA. Yeah, we're not looking bad right there. Could get into a like a little bounce right there. I'd have to look at that in the morning as well. So there you go with them. And let me make sure we hit everything right there. Let me see what you guys want to see real quick. And we will take a look. Boom. Hold on, we had a couple more from Jennifer Lee. I didn't even see these bad boys. I saw the other ones, but hold on. SPPL. Let's look. SPPL. Is that one that was running the other day? Yeah, it ran up to the top. Honestly, it almost looks like it wants to stay up there and bounce back up. I, oh man, you'd have to be careful on that one. I know, yeah. I know we looked at it and I thought it was going to pull back. It could come down on that top line and bounce back up. I would have to look at that in the morning. Again, if it's bouncing, you're going to know in the morning because you know what it's going to do. It's at 136. If it's bouncing, it'll get right over that what its high was, 165. Get it to 170 and it can really bounce off of there. So that's what you would look for SPPL in the morning. And if it's going to do it, it's going to do it early. NLSP, NLS Pharmaceuticals. That one is curling up. Oh, yeah, that one looks good. Did we just look at this? I feel like I just looked at it. NLSP. But yeah, it looks like it's trying to curl up here. Your 20 is right there, 440. This is at 409. Pull back a little in the after hours. That's must, yeah, 382. That's what I'm seeing on my chart. So I'll look at that one, NLSP. I'll write it down. It pulled back in the after hours. It might not hold that pull back, but it's just kind of giving me a weird look right there. That's what I'm seeing on mine. NXL. This one's been running up for a while. I remember we had looked at it a while back, and it looks like it wants to get back into the top. It's been staying up there. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't see it wanting to come down. I'd have to look at that one too. NXL. It's like it's hitting that resistance spot up there. I can't tell if it wants to jump up over that 301 or if it actually wants to come down. It's right there. I'd have to look at it in the morning, see which direction it wants to show me because it's not really showing me right now. And ADN, let's look at that. That looks like it's pulling back right now. ADN. Yeah, look, it has that pullback look at the moment, so I can look at that one. And there you go, Jennifer Lee. I hope that helps. And let me take a look at the messages and make sure I got everybody. Boom, let me see. I think I did. Did I miss anything? I think I got them all, to be honest. And if I didn't, did I do the EL? I think I did them. ELWS. Let me see. Early works, yeah, we were doing that, and I said make sure that's running up in the morning, and that EBS, I forget what it was doing. Oh, that was hitting that line. That one could pull back. But yeah, we did them too. I already did them for East Coast Beach Girl. Just wanted to make sure I got everything. And there you go. I think I talked a lot tonight, but again, I'm telling you guys, this market's going to set up and we pretty much called it exactly how it was going to run for the last 3 months. I remember we just looked at that Foxo the other day too. Somebody brought that one up and it ran up like 475%. It went from like I don't even know. What was it at? It was at like 14 cents and it just ran up to like a dollar something and had like over 938 million in volume. It went nuts, Foxo, FOXO. So check that one out in the morning too, because that could be running up some more because it went nutty. And I know we just looked at it the other day. But there you go. Oh. I think my brain's gonna shut down now. It was a long night last night, and there we go. We definitely did a good night tonight, and I will definitely be back on for pre-market at 7 a.m. tomorrow. You know that for a fact. And again, all information presented here is for educational and informational purposes only. It's not intended as financial advice. So always do your due diligence. And thank you, everybody. Profit Logics, laptop travel. O'Hare's Bastard Child, the Rabid Voles on there, Luis Rodriguez, Jennifer Lee, Tommy, Crypto, Bit Mag, Bong, Pre Chan, Jonathan is on there, QM, Bruce is hanging out tonight, Clayton, Sinai is on here, Scott, Sean's hanging out. So many people. There was way more people too. I know that there was other ones. And if I didn't say hello, I apologize, but I greatly appreciate you all hanging out as always. And like I said, we're gonna just crush this market and just be very accurate with it and just trade smart. That's what I'm looking to do. And that's what I've been trying to experiment with in the option world. And I'm telling you, it's gonna work out perfect. So just sit tight and pay attention, and we're gonna do it together as a little team here. Because, like I say, we have a great community. A lot of people are definitely interested in the markets and how things operate, and a lot of people bring a lot of great knowledge to the table. So, and again, you guys send out all the great stock tickers. I just run through them, but collectively, as a community, between what I find and everybody else, we find every single popper. It's pretty amazing. We have different scanners set for different things, and like I said, Jennifer Lee sends in perfect ones that are like momentum, and they're going up. They're just great plays, and Luis Rodriguez, if you send it in them, they're going to be good option plays. Laptop Travel sends in great lists. Asian Jolie, the Jolie jumpers every morning. We know what's already popping and what's moving and what's going on. I mean, it's just a collective group, and it works out great. I just happen to be blessed and have everybody come on and hang out, and I just tell you what I see. So I appreciate it, and yeah, there you go. Have a great night, everybody, and I'll see you guys at 7 a.m. and we'll rip apart the pre-market. And again, it's the Fed speaking. I'm not expecting a whole lot of craziness tomorrow and Friday, but God, these things are just setting up. It's going to be beautiful. And I just can't wait. I'm just looking at the news. It says stocks soar to records after Trump's come back to the White House. And yeah, it's just, I mean, the thing just looks insane. When you look at this lime green, obviously real estate, there was a couple red things up there, but for the most part, this market wants to rip. You can see it on the charts. And I've been telling you guys for months you could see what was going to happen. So, like I tell you, DJT might pull back a little bit. There's nothing crazy going on. It's just all setting up to get really wild. So we'll go over tomorrow. Let me know if you want to see anything in the morning. I'll bust through our usual pre-market stuff. We'll pick out the poppers, see what's happening, and we'll see what the Fed's going to do tomorrow. So have a good night, everybody, and I'll see you guys at 7 a.m. Thanks for hanging out, and have a good night.